DIY Wire.
Well, I'll be damned. DIYers, welcome to this special episode. Oh, man. It's like somebody pressed a red button and got Screwface and Curtis King in the same room once again. And every time we come here, we raise hell. Oh, today is no exception to that. What's good, Screwface?
I'm Chilly Willy Snowflake, man. What is good with you? Yeah, man, it feels good to be. We've been a little minute since we've been done one of these, so I'm glad we back. It's one for the culture. You know what I
mean? And you reminded me just how many years we've lived in one year. I just thought about it. I was like, man, how many times have we gone live this year? I was looking at the live the other day, and I was like, Doc, we have gone live so many times. I thought that. Remember how Rick James was like, that was weeks ago, Charlie Murphy. That's how I feel about this. I'm like, that was years ago, Screwface.
Yeah, time is a crazy concept because it's definitely been, I don't know what's been going on, but hey, I'm here for the ride.
Hey, well, speaking of which, y'all see the thumbnail. We're not going to waste no damn time. We're all in this group chat and we're having conversations, and this amazing group chat that exists. There's updates that happen and circulate between many of the names in this media space that y'all already know about. And Screwface said something in the middle of this chat that I had to say, hey, let me borrow that. And let me borrow that for the title. And he was like, the thing that he said was that, damn, this whole time Drake has been threatening about this red button. His fans have been echoing this red button that's going to change everything. First, it was the red button of round 2. And then it was the red button of the lawsuit. Then it was the red. And then finally he said, hey, I think they pushed the red button on him. I'm going to give you the button for that one.
Somebody going to have to tell the truth, and I'm going to tell it.
Somebody pushed it.
Somebody pushed something, and then my brain said, I got to get you on this live stream. That's what my brain said. It did the Chappelle They pushed the red button on Drake. What the hell does that mean, Screwface, who was the recipient of law documents because somebody was suing earlier this year?
Well, what I was saying when I said that was, and by the way, I don't have any extra information. This is all just me speculating barbershop type talk.
Right.
What I was thinking is, if I really want to get a little conspiratorial a little bit, I feel like, I'm not saying this is like UMG or stuff, but this was stuff that people were saying. It wasn't just me before this happened, where it seems like whoever was protecting Drake or whoever was protecting the brand is either not doing their job as well or is not there anymore. So, because if you just look in the last 30 days, what has his name been attached to?
Mm-hmm.
It's what I feel like people have been predicting, where it's just like this is it's going to get dark. It's going to, things are going to happen at a clip, and whoever was invested in protecting or keeping it where you were always winning, it's not looking the same.
I'm with you. I think that was something that I mentioned too. I'm like, there's no way there's a group of adults in the room who are like, that's the plan we want to go with. All right, everybody good on this? Somebody got to be having some kind of fight back in this situation where it's like, it's not even just about protecting his brand. It's protecting all the people who are employed in this situation. Like, why would you want the self-destruction of your own environment?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of decisions that have been made that are like, maybe he's not as strategic and as high IQ as I thought he was during the Meek Mill battle. Because I gave him a lot of credit during that Meek Mill battle. I was like, he was sending 6 champagne bottles to Charlemagne. He was doing all these. He was allegedly on top of the hotel room of Meek Mill. I was like, oh man, look at this. Big brain energy. Even the OVO Fest, he had the memes in the background. I said, oh damn, somebody's cooking. Well, I guess it wasn't him because he burning everything. Slow it down.
That's what it's looking like. And I even said, like, I don't know if it's even like a thing where it's more Drake is going through a lot. And I even was like, even as somebody who was a recipient on the side when, the legalities and all that stuff, I say, like, I was always a Drake fan up until 2024, basically. And if you listen to Drake's music, what you know is he has enormous chip on his shoulder. He's always had this chip on his shoulder, and Drake wants nothing more than acceptance. He wants to be accepted by, if it's not hip hop, it's a particular subsect of hip hop. And I don't even think it's the pop mainstream thing. I think it was like, that's why he gets so upset at people like Joe Budden and stuff. Like, I think those are the people. If you follow Drake early, he's more like a, you know, Slum Village. He was more like type stuff like that.
Fontaine. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think like something broke in him with this battle. I think with the Pusha T, it almost got there, but he was like, well, I still have the whole I'm me of this and he's him. So I can play it in a way where like, oh, I had this thing I was going to drop and I never did it. So I can leave that lingering and then drop Scorpion and wash that all the way out of there. I think what happened is he finally met his match, and the way Kendrick beat him was exactly the way, like Kendrick has said before, he was a Drake fan too. Like, Kendrick beat him in a way that I know it hurt Drake in a way where I think, basically, I say that long thing to say, I don't even think if it's just bad decisions. I think Drake is not in a, like, he's working from a place he's never worked before. And he's absolutely fumbling brand-wise, and there's too much against him, and he doesn't know how to fight this. And he thinks fighting this is by like reclaiming, like, no, I'm still the coolest. That's what he wants. And I don't think he's ever going to get that. And I think that's where the bad mistakes are coming from, because somebody should have said, yo, Drake, if you sue, right, you know, now not only are people going to attack you for suing, right, but when people start suing you, they're still not going to be on your side, because now it's going to feel like karma. So we burned our dynamite with two fuses at the opposite ends. It's like, what do we think was going to happen? Like, this is going to keep happening to him.
For those who don't know, because I got all kind of stories up here, because I didn't do no story after the Dodgers won the World Series, and I got all these memes and everything up here. As I'm going through the memes and I'm collecting them for the stories, it's more stuff up here. Screw, like it just every day it was something dropping. Even seeing like the young lady that's on, I think the Dominican show, the most popular reality show, when she's bringing out and disclosing stuff, it really does feel like, oh yeah, you thought you were just gonna take us to court, get it dismissed, and then get back to business. It's like, that's not how this goes. You said something that made me think about your situation in particular. Have you came to some kind of place to like mend Screwface, the person who has made a huge success for himself in a space, a huge name for himself, as many influential people that you could think of in hip hop who know Screwface, and then you as just a hip hop fan, aside from all this, who, like you said, used to listen to Drake. Have you even made sense of this? That you're you're that embedded into it?
I've tried. Like, one thing I do too, and this is just like a battle rap thing. I look at everything like battle rap basically. So I'm always trying to think of a strategy. Like, what are you doing to, like, let me take my like personal things out. Let me think of like, how are you going to do this? And like I said a lot of this before it happened. And I said, well, Drake is just, it's almost like it feels like he's cashing in on the Drake, whatever's left in that brand, because he knows he's no longer in the growing period of his career. I think, like, I could be dead wrong when I say this, and I hate even like projecting like this, but I just feel as of right now, and I leave room to be wrong, you know what I mean, that I don't know, and forever is a long time, but like, I don't know if anytime soon we're going to see Drake back to that views place. Right. Not the, for all the dogs, not for, I mean, views. Views to me is Drake at his ultimate powers. Like that's where it was just the Drake machine was firing on all cylinders. That's when I think he really, really, really was now like a super, super pop star. I don't think we're gonna get a God's Plan, Hotline Bling, those type of things again,
right.
because that caused that needed a lot of the machine, and that needed a lot of things that he has burnt. Where I don't understand what in real time, I didn't understand the strategy. I don't understand the strategy of basically saying, even down to the F LeBron thing, like how much he's put Los Angeles particularly against him. Because I was saying through the whole time, I was like, people keep making this like it's a Drake and LeBron thing for sure.
Right.
But this is not boding well for people, Los Angeles. Like they're looking at, okay, we could be against you. A lot of us against you because of the Kendrick thing, right? And I'm not saying us, because I'm not from
Sure.
a lot of them are against you.
You got that Dodgers gear on. No, you got that. You pretty clean in that Dodgers gear. I ain't gonna hold you. You know what I'm saying? Like one time for the Dodgers, right there.
I've had this happen for like a couple of months, and I never wore it. And then once they won, I was like, I gotta bust it out.
Say less.
The West be different. Anyway, so what was I saying?
No, see, you were just talking about the vantage point of LA.
Oh yeah. I think that it bodes badly, and then when you go against LeBron, it goes badly. And I think Drake knows that, so that's why he's cashing in on even the Toronto when he tweeted message top 5 and said it's LA versus Toronto. We knew what he was saying by that. And clearly Drake isn't going to let top 5 say that, what he said, without getting some sort of clearance. You know what I mean? Like you can't just say whatever. He probably said, yo, is it cool if I say this? He was cool with that. He was cool with his brand being next to that. So it's like, he also keeps making it a him versus specifically Los Angeles thing, or like everything versus Los Angeles, where I just go like, I don't understand this plan. I just don't get it. I still don't get it.
It's got to be. We've called it before. It's got to be some kind of humiliation kink, because I look at that's a freaky way to put it. I look at the way things have gone on, and I'm like, you're right. After that Pusha T battle, people had deemed that like the end, like this is the beginning of the end. And in a lot of ways, it did, I think, buckle some of the pillars we thought the foundation underneath him, like we felt like was indestructible. Nobody can touch him. I do feel like it showed a level of vulnerability he had never experienced in this limelight like that. And he came back, like you said, with the Scorpion album. He came back. He found his way back into the mainstream conversation. But this whole situation moves differently, not just because of the dismantling, the masterpiece dismantling, a psychological thriller that was that battle last year with Kendrick. But what about the way he's moving with like the Morgan Wallens and like flirting with the right wingers and the like, you know, like stepping on the line of the MAGA, and it's to the point where folks are looking at you and saying, yo, like, the slave line that you said, maybe you just didn't have awareness because of you being out there in Toronto, you're whatever. But now it feels intentional. You're sharing things from like even conspiratorial people on that side. You got Hell's Angels gear that you're wearing. People looking at you like, yo, what you really on? You ain't got to show me but a few times before I'm like, okay, you on that side of things.
And that's what I was just speaking to. Like, you're giving people so many reasons to not like you for like a diaspora of reasons. Like, people can just find a reason. Like, you've done so much where I go, whoever was helping you curate this brand before, whoever was neatly doing it, he was so hyper conscious of everybody liking him. That's why he said he didn't really speak out about like Black issues or like what was going on and like the harder type issues. That's why he said, because he was so, everybody, Republicans buy Jordans too type stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Last Dance type energy, right?
Exactly, where he felt like, but now it just feels like, but I guess this is happening like a lot in a lot of different aspects, specifically when we're talking about this topic. But it just feels like it's so open now, where you just go like, man, you really it seems like a lot of gambling, and I don't mean literal. I mean like a lot of gambling on.
Slow it down. Slow it down. Slow it down. Hey, my boy Screw really a battle rapper like that. He just doing it on accident now. I mean, what we talking about? You know, you gotta be careful with words. Words mean something around here, man.
Yeah, no, but it just doesn't make sense. If people pay attention to the evolution of the reasonings behind that lawsuit, it kept changing. Like, and I don't know why people didn't even stop and go, wait, this is like the third reason, because I remember when it first started and it was like, it's for the little guy. No, actually it didn't even start with it was for the little guy. It was more like it started with oh no, this is for the botting, the fake streams, and then when that got amended,
he's burning the whole building down.
And then he threw that. Then it was, oh yeah, he going for the little guy and the and that's why I feel like people like Rory didn't really know what the case was about, really, because when he found out, it was like, wait, it's defamation. That was like the third narrative of what it was. It was always that, but they kept trying to spin it. So it's just like, I don't get. He's making it so easy for people to dunk on this Iceman album. It makes no sense. It feels like. And I saw something about he took out like Iceman from his profile or something like that and only left up What Did I Miss and took out the other two songs and stuff like that. And it's just like, this is the most, if just being talked about, right? If just the action of talking about somebody is what he wanted, his team wanted, congratulations, you got that. But if this is for positive branding, positive rollout, this is one of the wildest rollouts I've ever seen. Really,
you ever meet somebody like that, Screw, who no matter what, they try to convince you that this was all in their master plan, and you get to a point where like they do that so many times, and you like, nigga, you ain't got no plan. You really don't got no plan at all. You life is just kicking your ass. I need you to go to the first step and accept that you have a problem in this situation. I think it's a humiliation, King, because there ain't no way in hell. I'm gonna go to some of these. Ain't no way in hell you tell me, Screw. Ain't no way in hell you pop up in a DM of Top 5, who seems to be like an unofficial voice of his in the public, and you DM him at the beginning of this World Series before Game 1 even started. He said, "LA versus Toronto."
And and here's the thing too. This is the thing that makes me so annoyed sometimes, where it's just like, he does stuff to be semi-cryptic, but I feel like he's not even great at being cryptic anymore.
So he's cosplaying Kendrick.
Because we know what you're leaving room for people to go, well, he didn't say, but you understand what the context clues of that message is, and then what Top 5 said, and for Drake allowing Top 5 to say that. Like, we know what you're doing, bro. Like, we know what you're doing, and then you want and then here's the thing is, like, if Kendrick drops a song right now and says something, he's gonna be wrong. That's the thing that annoys me, where it's just like, bro, nobody has kept this going more. Because I even hear people be like, oh, it's the media who keeps this going. Oh, it's YouTubers who keep this going. Oh, it's the fans who keep this going. Nobody has kept this going more than Drake. And I almost think, my bad, my last thing, I almost think Drake is to the point where he's afraid if he doesn't keep this going, people will literally stop talking about him. I don't even know if that's true.
No. Hold that thought. That is I promise you, the same thought has crossed my mind. It's to the point where you start to realize, oh, you truly believe that all pub is good pub because everybody's talking about you. And you saw so many moments that happened in hip hop this year. At least I saw it, where the Clips had a big moment with one of their videos, or a big moment with one of their, with the reception of their album. All of a sudden, he's in the news, whether that's a PR sending it in. He's in the news because he covered up a tattoo, or he's in the news because he grew braids back at a record pace. He's in the news. He's in the news because of some wild shit he did. Like, it's like, at this point, why do you keep showing up? You show up with fake smoke. I call it. You got it. You got fake smoke coming out your sweater. You there ain't no way in hell that this is a winning plan, because how do you know? Like, how do you know at the end that you won? Like, after all this embarrassment, you dragged your own name. So I think there's a lot to what you're saying about him dragging this. But we can't talk about him without talking about the old faithfuls. This is what they were doing before the beginning of the series. I don't know if you
Exactly.
caught some of this.
Yep.
And this is what they were doing. So they were taunting Kendrick, who at this point, if I was a OVO fan, I would do my best to do some healing and forget you even knew who Kendrick Lamar was. You need to put in your brain.
I got a theory about that.
You need to put in your brain, you know what? Bit off more than he could chew. We all go through it. Let's just keep on moving. No, but they continue to taunt. This is one of these accounts that said, let six gods sort them out before the games even started. Another person said the Dodgers are going to take an L tomorrow, just like Kendrick did.
But here's my thing. I don't believe, and I've said this, I do not believe some of these accounts are actually pro Drake.
That part.
I don't believe it. And at a certain point, you can't keep peeing on my leg and telling me it's raining. You just can't. At a certain point, we have to stop using internet logic. Right. And we got to just start using regular logic.
Yeah.
There is no way, right? There is genuinely this many people who are like sycophants to a like, I get the fandom, but it's like, it's to a point where they are more than, I put it like this. There's no human being who's reading the stuff that they're saying in succession and going, I'm making this thing look good. There's no way, like, I don't believe that. I genuinely believe some of these accounts are anti-Drake accounts. And it's not a coincidence. I'm telling you, I've been saying this. I think
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you because I promise you, I look at some of this shit and I'm like, did he approve this? What did he approve this?
I don't think Drake likes that stuff. I'm gonna keep it on some of the stuff that they say and do. It's like this. The metaphor would be like if you had a man's right that before you talk to any girl started bigging you up in a way where you're like, nigga, there's no way I can live up to this. After like the seventh one, you're like, nigga, you hating on me. You're not doing this because you want me to get this. You over here saying things like, oh, he the richest nigga in the world. You didn't know that? And it's like,
pull your credit card out. Pull your credit card out and buy the whole bar of drink. You got it.
Exactly. You're sabotaging me. I do not believe some of these stuff that they're saying and doing, they think is what I think they're just trolls who are having fun at this. I think when Drake loses, they are secretly enjoying or laughing with that to some of these accounts, because it's like when you're trying to make something look bad, right? Or you're going and you're telling these people like, hey, and this happens on both sides and all sides, but I'm saying like when you have pages, right, that are literally, you cannot tell if they're a real person or they're just like a robot pushing this thing. Right. You know that that's not viewed as great. You know, most people, especially on social media, do not view that as great. If someone can destroy your whole entire argument by going, yeah, but you're a robot, you know what you would try to do is make yourself look like a human, at least make yourself look sane, so then you... Okay, so there's this Drake count that I've been seeing. It's called Drake Debate, right? And I think they were the ones who made the original op list. I could be wrong about that, but I think they are.
Okay.
And lately, what they've been doing is going at some of those Drake pages. And I believe that that person is more of an actual Drake fan.
That makes sense.
Because I even said it during the battle before, like I was really done with Drake. I was like, where did this, like, I've been a Drake fan ever since Drake came out. Where did these Drake fans come from? Like, I don't understand.
Dormant races? Like, they're like dormant race? Like, what? And you're saying stuff like, get the slave music out of here. You've been here the whole time?
I've never seen that before. That's where I go, like, I don't remember this as a Drake fan where all of a sudden I'm around people who are like full-blown racist. And like, it doesn't even make sense. And to me, I don't believe you hold some of these thoughts that you're tweeting and you're a Drake fan. It don't make sense. It's more you just don't like Kendrick, and you're using Drake as the weapon to go against Kendrick. I don't believe you, because you're not going to say some stuff like, even if Drake says, "Why are you rapping like you're trying to get the slaves free?" We know that that's a super tone deaf, super stupid thing to say.
Right.
But we know that Drake, at least half of Drake, all of Drake, because Drake is presented as a black person, goes through the repercussions of those acts to this day. And we know that Drake isn't like an actual racist, right? Even if he says that, he's an idiot. He might just have privilege and all this stuff. But it's more the people who were defending it and what they were saying that Drake never said.
I Screw. Not to railroad your point, but after this ass whooping that he got in the Juneteenth celebrations, that shit might have turned him racist. he might never look at Juneteenth the same way, Screw. Every time he think about Juneteenth, he gonna think about Kendrick get some glasses and a red hoodie and how all of LA was blood walking and crip walking and coming together as one. He can't even Juneteenth right no more if he ever did before.
But even if Drake has built like racism, I'm saying there's a difference between like a black person saying an insensitive thing about black people and the white people defending it with racism.
Yeah.
And I go, no, you don't. Because when Drake says that, he's trying to make fun of, we know what he's doing. We know he's going, boys in the hood. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Sharif,
yeah. I get what you're saying.
But when you're white and you go, no, you're not tired of like black people complaining. Drake didn't say that.
Yeah, you went an extra level to it. You extra level to it. And now you getting involved in conversations that usually only black folks is involved in, and now you look crazy saying, yeah, I mean, how much of a black guy could you really be? Whoa, hold on, Paul, chill the fuck out. What do we do?
And Drake opened that door.
You need to relax.
Drake opened the door for sure. But it's like, I saw people saying like, I mean, heinously racist shit. And they had owl accounts. You couldn't really say. And I go, bro, there's no way pre this battle, these people were Drake fans. You see some of these accounts were created during the battle.
Right.
And you're like, it might sound like a conspiracy, but some of this I feel like is to make Drake look, because to the regular person, the stand does not help an artist, because the regular person is going to look, no matter what side of stand you are, they can read weirdness just because you can't read it because you're standing currently. They're going to be able to read that weirdness just like you can read. Like, say you're like, you can read when Drake stands are being weird. They can read when all stands are being weird, because even if they stand something, they don't stand those two things. So they'll push away regular people.
I was going to say, you know why it's so much to your theory? Because the clips, I don't be sitting in no damn OVO spaces, but damn it, the ones that go viral are the funniest shit that I ever seen. It'd be a combination of people. They be in there angry, but not just angry at what's going on with their favorite, angry at each other. Like, y'all niggas need to come to the front line. I'm tired of this shit. Like, I can't do this fighting no more. Them, I think, are real people. But then you're right. It's some people that in the midst of it's like, I still remember when the battle first kicked off and Rick Ross was still involved and he was dropping his diss song. I remember having a tweet about how I accused the first version of push-ups that got released being AI. And when I tell you for damn near 13 hours plus, my account got attacked by bots that were all hashtagging some very peculiar things. One of the hashtags was, of course, like Drake. The other hashtag was Dead Poets, or whatever the name of Taylor Swift's album at the time was. And I'm like, is this a UMG bot, like bot machine of some kind? Because why would you be using the hashtags on Twitter? Oh, you're trying to make something go trending while the album is dropping. So that's when I start thinking like, oh shit, there's more than what meets the eye. And now I'm looking at this and I'm like, damn, that theory really messed me up, because I'm like, some of these accounts have gone so far right in that situation that it's like, yeah, he said some messed up shit. I don't know if he said quite what you said, because now I'd never forget during the battle seeing one of these accounts had a picture of Kendrick and Martin Luther King Jr. and saying, what do these two demons have in common? And they're talking about them cheating or I'm like, what part of any battle is this? What part of the dialogue? What part of the competition is this? Y'all are different. Y'all are weird.
What throws me off too is I go, even if you did feel this stuff, right? In order to make Drake look good, what you would do is not present that, because you know that Drake wants to be presented as a hip hop artist. Right. What used to happen when you wanted to, make your favorite people like your favorite artist is you would make them want to like the artist. Mm-hmm. Now it's like you strap a bomb to your chest, you run in the building and scream the artist's name and then detonate. It's like, that's the level of stand-up. It's like, that's never gonna make regular people like that shit. Like, it's no longer feels like they're even trying to make people like Drake. It's almost like, I saw I think it was that Drake database tweeted, these Drake accounts talk about Kendrick more than the Kendrick accounts do. And I go like, I think that is by design. I don't think that it's like, some of these don't feel like, I would say a lot of these don't feel like Drake fans. They feel like people who don't like Kendrick or robots who don't like Kendrick. And it wouldn't matter if it was Drake or it wouldn't matter if it was Lil Scrappy. They would be doing the same thing. Like, they would be just as much. Because some of these people, I also go like, yeah, you couldn't have been listening to Drake his whole career, and there's no reason you should be this much of a fan of Drake. There's no way. With some of the things you're saying, some of the things, everything is from the club, like from a certain era on. I go like, yeah, y'all definitely don't actually listen to this nigga.
Yeah, even if you came in as a fan of someone else and he collaborated with them, like the fandom of the other ones don't make any sense. I do think we got to a period where the music became so, I want to be likable, and I'm talking about Drake, and I'm talking about a lot, just really the era in general. A lot of the music became, how do I get to the most streams? How do I get to the most playlists? Like, how can I do things that, you want the songs to be shorter? Let's do that. I do think a lot of that happened, but I wonder now if these fans that you're talking about, these bots are these these anti-stands. I wonder if also some of them are following suit and think that they're doing what Drake is doing. Like, what if they all got a humiliation king? What if they like, what if they like
a freaky ass fan base? Everybody
is like, you embarrassing yourself? Yeah. They like, the plan is embarrass yourself and then we rise back up to the top. Bet. Let's do that.
Here's the thing that's so dangerous about the internet, though, on some real talk, like all jokes aside, this was very dangerous, especially because I guarantee you the most place you see this is Twitter. This is why this thing is so dangerous. And I've seen how Twitter works. You got to remember who owns Twitter. You got to remember the tactics that we know that they employ to get certain things across. Mm-hmm. And you got to think of, it is just as easy as, first of all, we've already seen the articles about how more accounts are botted than not on Twitter.
That internet, right.
And it's easier you got to remember how easy it is to make an account, get interaction on something. It wouldn't even surprise me if some of these Drake accounts are being ran by people who also have Kendrick accounts, and they're just doing whatever they can from there.
Nah,
it would not surprise me. I'd be getting a little like some people. Like, I think deep about stuff like that because I go like,
that's why you battle rap.
Because if you're getting engagement, you just did it for engagement. Why wouldn't you do that? If you're just here for just engagement, and that's why I don't really trust. Even if you talk about this a lot, even if you cover this a lot, even if you're not like a person that I can see, or like I know you have like either like a YouTube or like a TikTok or something outside of that, I'm akin to just not even believe what you're saying. Like, even I don't even believe you believe what you're saying until there's some sort of stakes behind it. Like, this is who I am.
How about this, Scru? I'm gonna go to over your route. I'm gonna go a step further than what you just did right now. How about this? With the same bias that some Caucasians have when they see blacks walk in and they think like there's a really good chance this is a criminal, I do the same thing with anybody who started talking to me on Twitter crazy. I think it's about a 98% chance that you a bot. And I treat everybody as such. And people be like, why I get blocked? because you just smell like a bot. It smells real botish in here. That's what I start saying. Because I'm like, the way that everything's set up does not feel like it's people who want to have intellectual conversations, don't really want to have conversations at all, as opposed to yell at you and tell you how terrible of a person you are. Or it just, to me, I think it's really interesting how they go personal so quickly. And then that's when I start to say, I don't even think this is a real human being, because why would they be this invested in me? And I'm just an avatar on here. Like, I know I have a name, but not to them. Who are they? Like, we have no. Then I start saying, you know what? This feels really bottish. I'm not going to engage with these people. I'm not going to engage with these bots or whatever. I'm just going to assume that you're a bot. So I'm bot racist. So basically, I'm saying I'm bot racist. Go ahead.
The craziest part about that is when you say we don't even know if you're a real person. I think a lot of people just assume you're like, when I say that, I think people just assume I literally mean like a robot. Yes, I mean that. But I also mean that you could be an actual living, breathing human being, but you just are here to do things for engagement and you don't really care, which is an easy option, especially when you monetize Twitter accounts. That makes you also not a real person. So it's like you don't have, it's just hard for me to trust a page that don't fully have something to lose. Like, even though like we talk about, the dirty boy, what's the dirt? We say that he says that some of the dumbest, most head ass shit I've ever heard in life. But I know that I don't think he truly be believing all the shit he be saying, but I know what he's doing because he has like a page or something else where there's stakes behind what he's saying. But I don't believe a lot of the people who are under in the comments of either or people, because it's like, I don't even believe you're like you could be the same person just causing, because one thing Twitter is very good at in just mass is causing mass confusion and infight.
Oh yeah, since these elections, like I feel like the test run was in the late 2010s when you started to see people, taking up Facebook accounts and going crazy and causing, issues amongst our aunties and grandparents and elders, because they're looking at this and they can't decipher that this is a bot. They can't decipher. Even when you think about, Doc, it blew my mind when somebody presented to me that there were pieces of merchandise that were popping up as ads on Instagram. And it was like all things that were echoing, George Floyd and echoing Black Lives Matter. And they were completely in a different country that doesn't have a huge, like the people who own it. On the page, it says like Nubian queens and kings. But behind the scenes, it ain't nobody black that worked there or designed that. They're just taking advantage of the market and the opportunity and the emotion and everything flaring up, and they're running their business as a completely different race. When I saw that, I was like, but to your other point, this channel ain't gonna give Bush the Dirt much any credit, but I will say this: I do appreciate the people, and maybe this is more so my distaste for Twitter. I do appreciate the people who show face and put a face behind them opinions.
Yes.
Because a lot of these folks say some shit, and I'm like, dog, you would never say that in real life. It's
very easy to say. And that's what I was saying when I brought him up, because I go, no matter how head ass something Maul says is, he at least is the one that's going to take the darts for it. There's so many people who, if you think of like certain stories getting pushed, it's by people you don't even know if they're real. They will never take the darts, but then say like, you cover the story, you have an opinion that people don't like. Now you're taking darts on the behalf of a story pushed or created by somebody who will never take the darts for it. So like people like you, people like me, people like everybody. That's why I say I hate saying like the sides thing, but we know what I mean when I say sides.
I get you.
Everybody, the people who show their face, it also doesn't mean that you're not like a bad faith actor and you're not just saying things to rile things up, but at least you're going to take the darts of that. And at least I know you're not like two different people, but there are literal people who are two different accounts who will have one type of account where they act like they're complete crazy about Drake, and then they'll have like a regular account where they're just nowhere near actually like that. And it's just that is weird to me. That is like
that is so weird.
There's people cosplaying like they're black. There's people cosplaying like they're women. There's people cosplaying like it's literally just like I don't understand. Like it's too like it's too hard to then like be invested in some of that stuff it says. That's why, like I said, it's more like my disdain for like social media culture, where the loudest people be the people who don't show their face, which is just I don't.
And dog, you can be in this environment, say some crazy shit, pay for the retweets, pay for the likes, pay for the spread of it to look like it's organically moving, and then it actually trends, and then people who may feel the same way start picking it up. That can be orchestrated, like you said, by somebody who is a human doing bot activities. They got bot activities with bot tendencies. Bots is your friends. Bots is your
enemies.
I never thought about that, but bro, if the dead internet theory is true, which I believe a lot of it is true, can you imagine how many more you would have to add an asterisk next to that are actual human beings like you and I, but they're just doing an automated job the same way a bot would, but they're being asked to personalize it or customize what you say so it looks like that could really has to really be a Drake fan or really be a Kendrick fan. I can't imagine how many more people that may cover.
You got to think too, like how quickly, like, okay, you've been doing this, like just entertainment in general for years. I've been doing it for years. It took us, even the people like, let's say, who blew up during the battle, right? Say they blew up during the battle. I'll even give them, because it's been 3 years. I mean, what? It's been 2 years since like that, right? So if you've maintained past that and you're still a name, because there's a lot of people who caught a little wave and have disappeared, then you did something. But a robot, a bot, for it, every 15 minutes, 100 more of them can be created, and it really doesn't take. And just that fact can make themselves popping, or like at least to a point where they can tweet something and it'll get the same engagement that you get because they've created so many accounts that retweet what they do and stuff like that. But it took us years, so that's why it's like we can never compete with that. Because that's why you have to respect the people who show their face or built a brand of some sort, because it takes years to do that. I don't care if I agree with your opinion. I don't care if I don't agree with your opinion. What I do respect is that you built something and you're the one saying it. So and I think now that we give the same credence to literal robots who were created in 2025 that are literally 6 months old, can have a viral tweet and create a dialogue. That's what's making things like, I believe that some of these accounts are not pro Drake, they're pro engagement. And they know that almost being the whipping boy is going to get more engagement than being being a regular Drake fan is not going to get the engagement right now. A regular Drake fan is basically saying, I like this dude's music, but he's moving like a goofy. That is what the majority of the regular Drake fans are doing. It's like, yeah, he's moving like a goofy. That's not going to get you engagement, though.
And
you got to
now
say wild shit.
And now think about, with the rise of AI-generated video websites like Sora, how nasty it's about to get when you can actually say, okay, you're trying to say that our words are not real because we're bots and you can't see a face to it. Well, what happens when the video gets so good that you do, for instance, imagine, you know how people go on the streets and they say, we interviewed a bunch of Drake fans to see what they feel like. Do you feel like Drake's fell off yet? Hell no, that's the sixth guy. He's still at the top of his game. Do you think the lawsuit changed the way? Nah, he's about as hip hop as it comes. If you see enough of those, you may actually believe that these kind of avatars, and I'm sure there's a portion of it that does exist that are that delusional. But when you start thinking like, damn, is that the mass majority? It starts to like impede upon your own opinions of where the state of human beings are, society is, because it's like, there's no way. I'm using all this logic, and so many people around me are refusing it. There's no way in hell that everybody is thinking it's illogical. I want to carry this conversation to here, because there's some parts of here that I want to get to, and I definitely want to get to this class action lawsuit. That boy made it cool to look at him setting trends. He made it cool to set up lawsuits. How you feel about this, Screw? Because you just talked about faceless accounts. ESPN is not a faceless account, and Neither is the MLB. But after the Dodgers won the World Series, a bunch of these images popped up that started to play into the battle. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I was laughing at every single one of them. I was in tears.
Me too.
But then I started to think. But then I started to think. People are asking earlier in here, and first of all, shout out to all of my moderators who are sniping everybody up out of here. Thank you for getting rid of those bots, because they're for sure bots. There's the first part of me that's like, this shit is hilarious. I can't believe ESPN did this. Then I started thinking about a lot of these corporate companies be friends with each other. And when I say red button, the UMG pushed the red button, I started to think about, hey, who friends over here at UMG that's like, hey, can we incentivize you on something? I'm not saying that they would have to do this. Like, ESPN might naturally have somebody that says, we got to play into this because it'll go viral. But there's a benefit to this. Here you are basically talking about two artists that are underneath our roster. I look at this now and I'm like, it's interesting that this was the first thing that popped up from ESPN after the Dodgers won. The back-to-back artwork you may remember from Drake's back-to-back artwork. That was another continuation of it. Then, of course, you saw, I don't know if you saw this one. I can't play too much of it, but this was Nike after the battle was over with.
Oh, yeah. Definitely saw this.
Reincarnated. I was stargazing.
And you can guess how the rest of this went. And it was basically credits rolling. And, shout out to my Dodgers. I'm happy to see it. I'm not trying to be on no conspiracy shit, but nigga, this shit happened and it went crazy viral. This is even another image. I think I might have even been missing one where they showed Kendrick and the GNX skirting off on Drake.
Yeah. I got that in my thumbnail. Yeah.
Before I get to this other news, what are your initial, like where are you at when you see things like this? I mean, of course, it's funny and all that, but what do you have any other thoughts when it comes to that?
I got two ways to look at this, right? If I want to do my boring, what I actually mainly believe, it's there wasn't a media person, there wasn't a person in the social media team of any company who didn't have these ready before it dropped. They probably had Pro Drake was there. This is a layup. This whole MLB, this whole game was a layup for promotion, right? And
the story was already set.
Yeah, they had the back-to-back because some of this stuff writes itself before it even happens. Like you get this, you have this back-to-back tweet ready, you got the TV off, I think that's probably what happened. Now, if I really want to get, so it's like a 80-20, that's my 80%. 20% if I want to get my little conspiracy bag.
Come on, let's get the conspiracy bag real quick. Put my full hat on. Go ahead, Screw.
Remember this? Oh, that's the one that's Fox.
That's
Sports.
The one that, that was the one I forgot about.
Yeah. People, now this is all alleged. This is just me just going in and thinking. I don't have any information, and I gotta say that because they let
niggas be suing. And no, real. It really documents. Yeah. Go ahead and plug your documents if they need more content. Go ahead and plug the documents, man. Go ahead and plug that.
Document 79 out right now. Go check that out. And document 80. Go check that out. We almost do 100K on that.
Let's go.
But if I want to get my conspiracy bag for real, people underestimate the size. I think one of the things, maybe not people, Drake, as weird as it sounds, underestimates the size of Universal. Let's not talk about Universal Music because we always go Universal Music. Let's just talk about Universal. Like the Universal monsters, like the people who own, like who basically created those. This is one of the most powerful entities in the planet that there's ever been on the planet. All right. They don't just own music, they own a lot of entertainment in general. Right? So it wouldn't surprise me that even if somebody didn't quite push a button, people knew like, hey, I know what side I got to get on because when the chips fall as they may, this is going to be the pillar that's going to stay up. It was a lot of people talking about it's like, bro, better people have tried. And what you just did, if you believe, Joe Budden said that he believes UMG is going to try to punish him. Those aren't my words, but I do think that it could be something that might happen. Now, that's 20% what I believe.
It
not
don't take a
80.
conspiracy theorist to even get to that point though, because it's
Yeah.
like you gon' wait a minute. After I built this career of yours, you think that was all you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand the support that we have given you? I made the joke, not to cut your point off, but I made the joke when they first went in there to had a conversation about renegotiation. I felt like somebody in that office was like, "You see that up there? That's Michael Jackson. You see that up there? That's Prince. They couldn't do it. What you think you finna do?
Yeah.
Like many have tried. You think that you above that?"
And here's the crazy part: Michael and Prince actually had good cases, like better things that they're actually doing it for. Sometimes I don't like when people equate. Not that you were doing this, but people do that a lot with the Michael Jackson. He doing the same thing Michael is. No, he
is not.
Not in any way the same thing. So it was like what he did. It was so much more frivolous and stupid. It wouldn't surprise me if it was just like on some, oh, how dare you even like, even if you know that this is happening, this would be like you tried to snitch on somebody who was like Pablo Escobar, and you're like, oh, I'm definitely gonna snitch because they're gonna give him life, and then they're like, not guilty, you dead, like you done for, like that's how I look at it. It's like, ooh, you tried to rat and they got away. Ooh.
You was like, we won. I guess. You don't know. Nobody walks away from this industry, music industry. Nobody walks from the entertainment, movie industry. You hear celebrities say it, actors say it all the time. Nobody leaves this game unscathed. And boy, oh boy, Screwface, I'm gonna bring back up this on the screen. This has been a hell of a week for you for Mr. Aubrey. I don't know if y'all saw this, but damn it. This is the first piece of news. I didn't even do a story on it because I was like, he's getting sued for the state gambling thing. If you didn't know, he's getting sued in two different places, as well as Stake, who has been a sponsor of his when he does all these gambles, and he's doing all his gambling in front of all these gambling he's doing, including the streamer Aiden Ross. They put it all up there in front of their audience that sometimes typically skews pretty younger, too young to gamble. It says, according to a report Complex published on Friday, October 31st, lawyers for two men in New Mexico, Nathaniel Torres and Rory Mitchie, filed their own class action lawsuit against Drake Ross, Aiden Ross Stake, and its parent company, Sweet Stakes Limited. So the other location is Missouri. So you got two different places that he's getting a class action lawsuit. And before we went live today, Rolling Stone got the exclusive and said, lawsuit against Spotify claims billions of Drake streams were fraudulent.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
This article goes on to say it is a class action lawsuit on the behalf of artists. I think one of the leading names in there is RBX, who's Snoop Dogg. Right, legendary RBX. He's part of that conversation. And to give y'all kind of a small summary on this, if you don't know, there's a pro rata royalty pool system that Spotify has specifically, right? Some other like Deezer has this too, where basically you could be playing a bunch of Screw's music, a bunch of my music. No matter how much music you play of mine, you're like, I want to support them. I want to put money into their pockets. Spotify pays based upon a pie system, right? It's a royalty pool. Basically meaning if you're Drake or Taylor Swift or, one of the big dogs that are getting all the streams, you get a bigger slice of the pie. So if those people with the big slice of the pie on top of their undeniable names decide to boost their streams, like they're accusing Drake here, 35 billion streams they're saying he's responsible for, that means everybody else gets paid less because of this pie system. Screw, I'm gonna take it to you because old boy tried to take down. He tried to be Talcum X and take down the system. And I said, this is weird. He's given details that sound like he has done it himself. Like when he was accusing Not Like Us of all the botting and how the way he's abusing Discovery. I'm like, how would you know that unless you did it?
Absolutely.
And now here we are with this class action lawsuit, which I really do feel like they have, you know, I don't know if it's something that actually I got to see more details on it because there is some sources that are lacking. But what is your first initial thoughts in seeing that 35 billion? They're saying, I believe.
Well, the crazy part, the first thing I thought of was, well, yeah, bro, you opened up Pandora's box, man. I keep saying that is like, and I said this during the thing where it's like you opened up Pandora's box with what you tried, and people just even just for the irony of it are going to do this to you. Like it's going to continue happening. Then my second thought was, yeah, there go that somebody might have pushed the red button, and you know what I mean, it might not have been him. There goes a little bit of that. But then when my mind really settled on it, I also don't know how great of a case they have or whatever.
Right.
See how that goes into. I'm not saying like I'm not one of these people who are like Drake is guilty. He's out of there. He 100% did it. But here's the thing that kills me: the irony. Like I'm almost getting sick of the way irony be hit this nigga. The irony of the people who were saying you were doing this for the little man while he was, if this is true,
right,
quite literally taking money out the little man's pocket. I mean, like there's almost not another literal way to take money out the little man's pocket. This just where I go like, man, I don't know who buried a chicken foot on Drake, but this boy got some juju on him. He got some straight juju on him. I don't know how this happened, but I go, okay. I always know people. We know for a long time that record labels and people like that bought. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
It was Drake that made, which is another ironic thing. Drake was the one that made it be like, almost, I felt like it was an insult to the consumer's intelligence where they're like, no, even though we've been botting forever, the reason you didn't really like this song, the reason is because we bought it or they bought it you to like it, which could be projecting.
Right.
Supposed to go like people don't really. He doesn't think people really like him. Maybe he was projecting in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But I also go, it's just a confusing case. One, the RBX being the face of it, I already know what the narrative people are gonna. What's secretly happening is Kendrick is behind puppeteering RBX.
Yeah, you know they're gonna do that. The boss got it. But see now I'm looking at it very differently when you said. Because I'm like, my thing was, if it's bots, what you said was so thought-provoking, because it's like, if it's bots, then how are they so damn good at customization? Is it AI? And then it makes sense. If you get paid to do this, because by having these posts go viral, it generates income to pay you with, and you do a better job, and you get engagement, and you're engagement farming, you know what that is. So I say that to say that I'm looking at it from a completely different lens now when I see those narratives pop up, because it's almost like they're throwing shit at the wall hoping it sticks.
Yeah, and the class action lawsuits that means there's a lot of artists that are behind this. Mm-hmm. And so though RBX is the face, that means there's a lot of artists behind it. It could be a sticking to the wall thing. If I just go to my logical brain or I'm not going to say logical brain. What I'm thinking right now is I don't know how strong of a case it is, but if I go to my, not even conspiracy brain, if I go to my artist brain, and it's funny too, because I want to hear your thoughts on this, because I've been watching you specifically for years, even before we knew each other, talk about how Spotify, you've been talking about this shit for years. So I want to hear what you got to say about that too. But I find it just confusing, right? That the Spotify streaming botting thing, because I know artists who I know for 100% fact did not bot their music, will upload their music to Spotify. This probably happened to you, it's probably happened to me, maybe not with their song got taken off, but streams got taken off. And it will just tell you that these streams were botted or something like that, and it's
no evidence. It won't even present evidence.
Yeah, it'll just say this amount was botted. And
right.
I always went like, well, I know for 100% fact I didn't bot. I don't know. And then I heard stuff, and it might have been you who said it. It might have been a video you made, but where they said like sometimes they'll put your stuff in playlists that have botted
Yes,
activity.
that was,
Yeah, so it's not even you doing it. So it confused me where I go, because then if this is true, why would Spotify be doing this to themselves? And then this is where my conspiracy brain starts kicking in. Because why would Spotify want to pay you for fake streams? It doesn't, we can go like, nah, they're evil. But just if the bottom line is making money, how does it make sense to give somebody more streams to pay them basically for ghost streams? But then my conspiracy brain goes, and this is, I have no evidence of this. I don't know if this is true.
sure.
It's
We're all alleged. We're all alleged here. Yeah, it's all alleged.
like where I go, well, maybe there's like, this is wild to say, but maybe, and maybe it's not wild to say, maybe there's deals in the back end where you're getting paid more than you would get for, you know what I'm saying? So maybe a third party or maybe a first party is going, hey, give me these streams. Because I can't fathom why Spotify would be doing this if it's true. Like, why would that wouldn't make sense? But then I go, unless there's some back end thing where they're getting paid, like we're just getting a deal. Hey, I'll give you X amount of millions to give me X amount of million or billion streams, which does not equal out to $1 million. So I go like that, and then it just, my brain keeps going where I go, and even if that is true, whose fault is that really? I made a video about this earlier, and I said, and I went, this isn't me even shooting bail to anybody. This is a genuine question. Not shooting bail to Kendrick, not shooting bail to Drake. It's like the BBL thing, right? Where I go, if you're only attracted to a woman because her chest and her ass, so she goes and gets a BBL, and now you're attracted to her, would it be weird if you went back to that woman and go, it's your fault? How dare you go and get fake things to make me attracted to you, even though it did make me attracted to you? Or would it be, because I go, is it since we've gotten into this numbers culture, since we've gotten to this thing where people don't even listen to music, they judge it by, is it streaming? Are people buying it? Are other people saying to listen to it? Whose fault is it really if what makes you engage with something is the numbers, if they fudge the numbers, if it doesn't change what you're hearing? Whose fault is that? Is it not our fault for, I'm not even going to say me because I'm not one of these people. Is it not the people who get their validation from numbers fault?
Sure. I get you. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
There'd be no point.
I would counter that with one thing, because I think you're cooking. I think you're 1,000% right. There's some shared blame. No. I'm with you. I'm with you, because you get me thinking right now. I think there's enough blame to go around. I will say this though. If you as Spotify know the effect that seeing numbers can have upon a consumer's decision making, if you yourself know, if I place Drake on every single playlist that we have, that is an official editorial playlist, which they did, I believe, in 2018 or 2017. And he had rock fans mad, like, why the fuck is he on my alternative rock title? If
Remember
you know
that with U2?
Huh?
Remember when they did that with U2, where everybody just got the U2 album?
That's why I look at this and I'm like, I really feel like the money that they pay out is both strategic and it's a drop in the bucket, right? Compared to what Daniel Ek is actually making now, like who's the former, he stepped down now, or he's getting ready to step down, the CEO, based upon him being able to take $300 million from last year in pocket. No matter what they say about Spotify not being a profitable business and the arrangement they had with the 3 labels, one of those is not even in there anymore. But people made the argument that Spotify was only making, every dollar of theirs, 70 cents of it was already accounted for from Warner, Sony, and from Universal, right? That was the whole thing. They couldn't find how to make money outside of music. They tried to do their own exclusive deals with artists, and then that got cut at the knees by the labels who were like, you ain't finna cut into our money. Like, stop playing. So they cut from there, went to podcasting. Podcasting made them a shit ton of money to the point where they could shell out $200 million to Joe Rogan. The funny thing about this one, though, Doug, I feel like, but let me in that point. I do feel like it is very psychological for them. It's very much programming. for them to put those numbers as prominent as they do. And they don't say fans, Screw. They say listeners.
Mm.
When I think about listeners, I'm like, that could literally be a bot.
Mm-hmm.
So if you run those numbers up, it's not lying. They're listening. It's this bot form of. And when I think about all the artists that were coming to me and saying, "Yo, Curtis, do a story about this because Spotify took my album down. I ain't even getting enough streams to be looking at as botting." I said, what if the reason why those streams are getting botted? What if not just because of the playlist? What if a good majority of the population on Spotify is actually bots, and they do this so that at the end of the year they can say, "We paid out artists $40 million or $1 million this year, and we did this," and they do these end of the year sales reports. But then I look at the thing they just did a month ago, dog, Screw. They say there's approximately only 120 million songs or pieces of media on Spotify, approximately. They just got rid of 75 million pieces of media that were AI slop and whatever else they called it. 75 million of 120 million. So this class action lawsuit, as much as it is about, the Drake and those labels who are boosting the streams, this whole environment is in question. And I think I put a tweet up. I was like, "Oh, y'all got some splaining to do, because how you got a royalty pool system, and how do we know?" The thing is, you got rid of 75 million AI songs and loops and all of this. How do we know that's none of y'all music? Johan Rohr is a Sweden musician. Funny, Spotify's from Sweden. Johan Rohr is a Sweden musician who this nigga can make any style of music you can think of. Mm-hmm. Tell me why collectively all the stuff he's produced has more streams than Elton John, more streams than ABBA, more streams than some of the most. You've never heard of no Johan Rohr. He's able to create music under different names, and Spotify turned a blind eye to it while telling you, "Hey, you got to take that song down because you got bots." Nigga's literally a bot putting up music under different names. So I say this class action lawsuit, whether it's this RBX one or whether it's another one that's pending, was bound to happen because they position themselves as the leader. They got, I think last time I saw was like 30% of the market share. So that was going to happen. So when I see this, dog, I'm like, yeah, this was bound to happen. And you can only operate like this for so long. But you're right. A lot of consumers do share in the blame in that they drank the Kool-Aid. And they said like, "Oh, so if you don't have this amount of streams, they're not a serious or professional artist." One last point. Then Spotify said, "That's a good point. How about we don't pay artists for their first 1,000 streams?" Because you're not professional unless you get 1,000 streams or more.
Yeah.
It's a cricket game, bro. That's why I did so much digging into it, because I'm like, dog, how could you build a sustainable business as an artist, 100% as an artist? You don't do content, you just do music, when the system is rigged like this.
Absolutely. And like I said, as somebody who, this lawsuit actually affects me and you directly because we upload our music to Spotify. So if it does come out that my boy was botting up to 35 billion in stream, yeah, we're going to need that chicken. I need to run that. I need my little 5 cents, nigga. I need my little, you feel me?
But see, Screw, I'm with you. We can both go to the embassy and wait outside and say, hey, wrap this shit up. Hey, wrap this Iceman shit up. You don't have to pay.
I need my little $3.95. I don't give a damn. I need all my little red cents. I need all that.
You want to be all in your Instagram stories, trolling. You want to put names all in the lawsuit. Come on outside and pay the rest of that money up. It's time. But you know what? I look at this and I'm like, what did he think was going to happen? What did he think was going to happen when you are saying, I am basically implying through your lawyers, I will bring this whole damn thing down.
Yep.
I'll expose all this stuff. I know the people that work in your offices. I know the people who don't work there anymore. Remember, there was a part of the lawsuit where he said there were people that were like pro Drake that were at UMG that were no longer employed there anymore. And I guess that was kind of his insight to what was going on. I want to say it may be a department that was related to the same ones that were censoring Pusha T when he had to deal with that nonsense over there. So with that said, you can't expose the game without exposing what you did. This is going to be bad because now they're able to be like, That's what you want to do? Okay, well, since we're exposing things, let's expose that your entire reputation was built by us.
And you, not to cut you off, another thing that kills me that's just bad strategy is if we're playing, all right, we're gonna nuke each other like ourselves, right? UMG always is gonna win that battle because they are already viewed as the evil corporation. So if it comes out that they were botting, they're gonna live on because we're gonna keep listening to Universal Music. Drake is the only one who comes to lose in this because he's one artist, he's one person. So it's like you can literally attach a bunch of negative stuff to him. He's gonna tank way before UMG. UMG can come and be like, yeah, we're botting.
I pose
new artist you like.
I pose this to you: if Lucian Grange calls Donald Trump, President Trump, on the phone, and if Drake calls, who is he picking up first?
It's gonna be Lucian. Yeah.
Who has a more?
Maybe that's why Drake is.
Who has a bigger? That's WB. WB. No, head ass. Like, my thing is, like, I feel like he doesn't understand. Like, I don't know what level of delusion, what level of ego gets you to the point where you're like, man, like I think I can win this. Maybe the same delusion I got you inside of a battle with Kendrick Lamar.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna
I think also the I'm gonna appeal this. I just think all of this goes because you gotta look. An appeal, if this evidence is allowed to be put in, like, listen, he literally was botting. Like, on top of already what was already in there, like, it just looks like it's just shooting all kinds of holes through whatever appeal you thought you had. But it's just like, also, it doesn't take anything to do a class action lawsuit. So Drake's going to keep going through these, even if they're frivolous and they're not going to stick. There's going to be ones he's going to have to settle out of court. There's going to be da-da-da-da-da-da. And I just said in the last 30 days, I don't remember if we said this out loud, but we have to just sit and look at what happened in the last 30 days. The UMG case gets dismissed. A new reference track leaks. Well, maybe the new reference track got leaked before that. But
before all that, I forgot about that, though. That's crazy.
It's to a point where it's so much that you almost start forgetting some of the stuff. The that one Brazil, the lady that you said that came out started saying he was doing worse.
Let me pull up. Hold on. I know you won't forget your list, but let's pull that up for context because I do have that one ready for you. I need y'all to try to focus, gentlemen. We need to keep the main thing right here. That's what I'm doing, Curtis. Calm down. Gracie Bond says her fling with Drake ended the moment she pulled up to his party and saw, quote unquote, everything. She says they weren't women or trans, then blocked him the same night. I want nothing to do with that man. She is, I believe, a social media influencer, a model who says she's dated Drake after DMing him hola while she was married. She also revealed she met his son and mother, but she fell out with Drake after the Aiden Ross Wireless Fest stream where he flew out a bunch of streamers to his show that he had at the Wireless Fest. She says she blocked him and claims he blacklisted her from UK parties and never gave her real love or attention. She added that she didn't sign any NDAs, and she did this, I believe, on a reality TV show that was in I think it's in the Dominican Republic, I believe. But Lord have mercy. Okay, let me see. Lord have mercy. That was that story. I only bring that up. I only bring it up to say, it seems like this might be phase 3. So continue to your list because I look at this and I'm like, the timing is just timing right now, my boy. Like, if you don't take that as a sign, you think these people powerful enough to make sure that the Blue Jays didn't win? Because that shit is amazing. Some of this gotta be some of that just gotta be karma.
It was tying people's shoes together in the dugout secretly.
What we're gonna do is make sure the ball goes inside the fence and then just gets lodged there. That's gonna be a very
I'm sure some people are gonna come with a Rock Nation conspiracy theory about that soon.
Somehow Rock Nation got something to do with this for sure. Always.
Yeah, but what I was saying is, and then you gotta also stick the Aiden Ross, the two new Steak Aiden Ross lawsuits. And you got to think, these aren't just, all of these things are attached to way bigger themes. Like, they're not just little things. Like, this Drake Steak thing is being attached to this whole Gilbert Arenas, Rozier, that
You think
whole.
that's connected?
Oh, it's 100. Oh, it's a
Yeah.
what? I'm telling you right now, bro. That stuff is connected. And I say it's connected because sport gambling in general is gonna is under fire right now, because once the NBA was because I talk about this all the time, where like my brother and stuff, like once the NBA got outed that there were some people in it that were fixing their own stats and sheets and games, basically, now the fallout to that is going to be biblical. And I'm telling you, all sport, because it wasn't just these two lawsuits. These were two lawsuits that Drake was named in. I think there was 80 different lawsuits in the last 48 hours. Last time I read it, that came against gambling. I think online gambling things. So it's like all of that stuff is attached, and that's why I say this isn't just some little like, oh, Drake punched the waiter somewhere because his drink was cold. That's just like a little personal stuff. That being attached to that is huge. This Drake being attached to the fake streaming, the botting, is really more attached to, like you said, the AI conversation. These are all microcosms that are speaking to really big macros that I think are getting ready to change right now. Whether the way we communicate with AI, the way that we communicate with sports gambling, and Drake just happens to be attached to all of them, or a lot of them, and that stuff is going to keep happening to him. That's
the dog. The irony of him being on the receiving end of this era of AI when he helped soft launch with TaylorMade Freestyle.
Yep.
He helped to soft launch that to a mainstream crowd that was all eyes and all ears during that battle between him and Kendrick. He helped to soft launch the conversation, in these hip hop circles about. I mean, just one thing you can't deny is that he does have the influence. He's been positioned to have the influence. He had the machine to make sure he stayed in these conversations. But when he soft launched with the AI voice, using Tupac's voice and using Snoop's voice, there is a large population, and ironically, that same large population that was influenced by that started putting fake diss songs out in the midst of this because Kendrick was taking too long. Remember that happened? It's been so much shit. I forgot. Remember when people were like, Kendrick is taking too long. I'm going to do a Kendrick Lamar style diss song and use his voice via AI. Dog, like he helped self launch it.
Was one,
huh?
I think there was one called Owl Hunting.
Owl Hunting, yeah. I think I
never
the reaction. I was like, oh hell no.
Yeah, I knew that shit was AI. It is crazy. It is crazy to think, when you start thinking, it feels like Rome is falling a little bit. And it feels like Drake was Caesar, because I feel like they, not just that, I feel like they used Drake to soft launch a lot of stuff, even if we were paying attention. Like, I feel like they use Drake to use a lot of stuff. And I feel like that now is, when that stuff is going down, like, how are you in the middle of an AI, like a fake botting, so basically like an AI type lawsuit and a gambling lawsuit type stuff right now? It's just like, those are the two worst things to be connected to right now. And I think that, like, and I used to always tell people, I'm just old enough to remember when Ja Rule was smoking, right? And I remember when 50 first came out, I remember people were like, man, Ja too big. Bro, Ja just gonna get another song with J-Lo.
Bro, he ain't making no songs like Ja and Ashanti. Like, what are y'all talking about right now, dog? He's untouchable, bro.
There was 3 Ja Rule songs on the radio back to back. Oh yeah, he gonna do. And I remember when Ja Rule fell. And I remember when this battle started, and I kept telling people, the same thing happened. People for a long time thought Drake was too big to fall. I even started buying into that after seeing the Ja Rule thing. But what I remembered is, there is, in the moment, you never think whoever's the hottest, hottity, it can fall.
That's the point.
Every last person
Right.
in full. Every last one.
That's
it
what makes
happen to everybody.
That's what makes it such a spectacle, because you're like, there's no way that this could ever happen to someone in that position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Rome falling. It's like
No.
where you go, and that's another thing. If we just speak about the hip hop not being in the top 40, whatever conversation.
Yeah, I would love to hear your point of view on that one. Yeah,
I think I have a lot of takes on it. One of them is to the people who are like, man, it's because Drake. But there's people who, it's funny because the people saying it's because Drake's not dropping. Where I go, what? Like that's not even a good argument, but that's not even a true argument. But
he's dropped more music than he's took days off.
Yeah, so I literally went like, I think what the problem is hip hop has been on the mainstream or on the billboards declining. I think a lot of that has to do with how passive we got with listening to it. Which it became a thing where you're not even listening to it because you like the thing. It's almost because you like the aesthetic. And that was almost like became the common narrative about hip hop. And I think for so long, hip hop got so ironic that it ate its own tail. I think like with the whole like, and I've never been someone to be like, oh, I hate mumble rap, but some of the stuff that we accepted, we had to have already known, like, bro, you don't even really like this. You
the
just
highest
like
levels of degeneracy, and even stuff that at the moment it was funny as hell, but I don't think history is gonna look back on a Sexy Red with the same kind of understanding of the sense of humor and the time period and the controversy when they think about my booty hole brown and my Coochie pink and her selling like different cosmetics with, was it like with diseases or something on them, like syphilis or something? Like what time period were we in where that was cool?
I think we just got to a place where social media, I hate even saying things like this, but like it's not really social media, but it's more like, I call it like Tumblr culture, where everything got around like the Lil B time and whoop whoop bass god, all of that. But I'm saying around that time, I feel like hip hop started becoming ironic. I feel like people were not, because before there used to be like a rhyme and a riddle why somebody likes somebody. Like, and I'm not even like, let's take it back. It was very obvious if someone goes, I like Lil Wayne. You go, well, you don't really got to argue too much of that. Even if it's somebody that you don't enjoy, you could be, I can't even think of somebody. I'm not the biggest, damn.
You be showing love to a lot of people too.
Yeah, I can't think of who I don't like. That's like trying to create a negative. But
yeah, okay.
Let's just say randomly, I like Jay-Z more than Nas, right? Which is a fact. I like Jay-Z more than Nas. It's very obvious if someone goes, I like Nas. You go, oh, I mean, I get it. I get it. It came to a point when it came to like Soulja Boy around that era, and I think we started going, and it was a good reason, because it started becoming so like stuffy, and the rules started getting too bent up, and so we got into our like punk rock era where no longer do we really like. It's not the music is good; it's more like a rebellious. Oh, this Soulja Boy don't sound the same. We're dancing. So when you're saying hip hop is dead, we're not trying to hear that old head. And in a way, that is a good argument, because hip hop wasn't dead. Hip hop was changing. And if some of the people would embrace certain things, it would not have felt like such a separation. But I also feel that hip hop got so ironic that it started becoming that we liked something because other people liked it, and almost liked it because it was stupid. And I think we finally got to a point where it's like, you niggas never really liked that, because if you did, it would have, when they weren't pushing it to your face and forcing you to eat it, you would have ate it on your own, and you're not. That's what that's showing. You're just absolutely not.
To your point, because first of all, you cooked on that one. That's a great theory. To your point, I think for the first time, hip hop has always been a voice of kind of like counter what's going on in the mainstream. It's always been a voice of revolution. I remember Ice Cube said in an interview, he said, it's not hip hop if it's not going against something or some entity or some, whatever the case may be, some entity it's not going against. And for the first time, that rebellion got turned on itself. It got turned on its own core values. It got turned on. I'm the type of person where I don't respect my OGs, and that's such a distant thing from my mind. Even though some of the OGs be tweaking out, I still look at it and say I could still separate what you accomplished, the inspiration you gave me, and separate that from the person that I never even knew as a human being. I don't know you, but for the person I see. But I think it got to a point where, like, the kids that were coming up, as much as it was them and their kid nature to rebel against the thing that their uncles and their older brothers and their pops was into, I do feel like the labels played a role in that, and their openness and encouraging them to go as left or as the other direction as they can. And I feel like they embraced the lowest common denominators over and over and over again. It got so bad that, at least with Soulja Boy coming in, he presented something that was it was polarizing for that time period, right? But he was at least being authentic to him.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it now, where you got folks who are rapping about, like, when I think about the Slim Jesus era, and he did all that stuff he did where he got the guns and all of the stuff in the video and like imitating drill culture and drill music in Chicago, and then he gets in an interview. This to me was like one of those moments people forget about, but it's such an important moment. He sit in an interview and he says, "Oh, I don't do that shit. I would get locked up. That's stupid to me." And people accepted that. Like, he didn't last, but I think he started an opportunity for people to say, "Oh, I don't even gotta live that shit." So then you heard Lil Tecca in the Genius interview. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, I rap about a bunch of shit that I don't do." And in hip hop, that was a core foundation. Like, what you mean? Like, even if you did bend the truth, which every rapper at some level does, that's what makes hip hop hip hop. But this is my theory though too. Last thing I'm gonna say, my theory on this one though, I feel like at some point, those powers that be devalued this product on purpose. Did what they did to get it out the way. But why would they do that, Curtis? Because it's making all this money. Let me cook. They got it out the way because this is the one genre that is the hardest to duplicate through AI. All the nuances that go into it, the swing in the drums, the tonality in the voices, the storylines that we attach ourselves to. 50 Cent got shot how many times? He came from where? These things that make an artist the superstar that they are, they can't duplicate that. They try with F and Mecca. But you know what they can do? They can make it into pop star. They can simulate R&B. They get a poet to write the lyrics, which she did for Zania Monet. I really feel like they're getting them out of the way so that they can press this on and then get back in control of things. But you got to get hip hop out of here. You got to get mainstream rap out of here because, first of all, we already devalued it. We got it out the way. Now we can bring something in its place. Because now what is it? Is it country? Is it world music? Is it Latin music? Is it Afro beats? Like, what is it now? If you get that out the chart system, it's country music. It's all these. So I'm looking at this, bro, and I'm like, I think they've been trying to get it out of here, and I'm not sure that I'm mad about that. Because
one thing I'll say though is, and I guess I'm more like akin to, I try to blame the root more than I blame the fruit. I try to do that as much as possible, and I'm gonna keep it tall. I do think the labels definitely played a role in it, but no. And I feel like we do this a lot. Nobody devalued hip hop worse than hip hop. Nobody devalued hip hop.
You're right.
At the end of the day, this is the same way what I say about drug dealers. What drug dealers are doing is bad. But there is a culture that is created where they're not forcing people to buy this stuff. These people are coming to them, so they're supplying a demand, even if it's a bad one. So I look at record labels as not people. They do whatever they can to do the bottom line. But sometimes I feel like we think we know they have a lot of control. But at the end of the day, the people have the most control, which is why they try to manipulate certain stuff. Because if they had the control, they wouldn't have to try to manipulate it. They'd do it right in front of us and wouldn't care. The control. But the people, and I think like I said, the reason why hip hop had to like accepted certain things is because what hip hop did. Hip hop did get to a point where there was too much gatekeepers. It did start becoming a little like too toxic to a point where, now this is pre-drill and never gotten, that's the most toxic era, period. But I'm saying like it started getting to a point where it was like, there's hip hop shares a lot of Republican values, and we don't even stop and think of that. Hip hop is very Republican, especially during, like, if you think of like the Beanie Siegel era and some of the stuff that they were saying and stuff, you go, yeah, this is Republican. So I think like when you, and I'm not just saying that was all, I think the acceptance of things like Soulja Boy and mumble rap was a way to be like, let's open up a little more, but that was the poison that also killed us. We got too much of it because it was needed to a point. It was needed to a point. And I do feel like a lot of the things that Soulja Boy got, it wasn't fair because he was just like a kid from Atlanta he wasn't hurting anybody. And people were acting, but I think it got so that was the seed that grew the tree. So we needed that seed, but the tree bared bad fruit and kind of started killing shit where people stopped remembering why they were accepting Soulja Boy and started being like, oh, okay, well, this is just ironic. I like something because it's talking about Booty Hole Brown. Is this actually good? No, we all know this is actually not good. I hated that when it started becoming a thing where you go, yeah, bro, it's just a vibe. People always argue with me when I say this, and I try my hardest to be the example because I genuinely don't believe this, but enough people say it where I have to. I don't believe music is as subjective as we act like it is. I don't believe, to a point.
Break that down. Break that down.
I don't believe that we are as, because people always go like, man, I just like it because it's what I like. It's just what I think. I think we all have a baseline, all of us. Yeah. Where we know this is not good, this is good. Now you can say you like it for
some very objective baseline things that are that across the board. It's like I expect my music to be in key.
There are certain
very
things
basic.
We know that like sonically that our ears are just programmed to like more, and we know when we don't hear that thing what it feels like. I think we got to a point, and it's perfectly fine to say, though this is not good, this song reminds me of when me and my dad used to go fishing. That is perfectly fine. What happened was, because it made you remind you when you and your dad go fishing, you now argue that it was actually sonically good.
That's what started considering those things. Like you never even considered those things. You assumed those things. And how many times did we go back to a project that in our teens, in high school, or whenever it was, we were like, this is the greatest thing that my ears have ever heard. And then now you go back and visit it at this age and you're like, it's still amazing, but it's like not, like my ears had to even develop to a place where I'm recognizing that as forward moving, as futuristic as it was for the time period, it's not even competing sonically with the music that's happening right now that I don't like.
Exactly. And people started getting to a point where we started, yes, it is subjective to a point, but we over subjectified it, and it's not to a point. We started acting like our reasoning to like something was what made it sound good. And it's like, I think that's when we stopped knowing what we actually liked. That's when the artists started having to follow, like we've always followed trends, but do things outside of music because we are all confused. We don't know why the Sexy Red thing worked because it doesn't make sense, right? But this is another reason where it goes, well, it did work, but look at how hard it is for her to try to catch another one. And you know why? Because if there was a actual objective, no, this is objectively good. You know how to make it objectively good. If a nigga go, well, because it encapsulates this night at King of Diamonds we had, it's like, okay, so how do I encapsulate that again? You're probably not, nigga. And that's why everything is about viral. Everything is about,
No, go ahead. You I don't want you to finish that. What you said.
That's why everything is about viral, because everybody's trying to catch a feel because they don't know what niggas actually like. I wish artists, everybody's trying to go, we don't know what you niggas want to hear. Let's keep it gangster.
Just say that. Just say that. And like, just say I don't know what to drop right now because this environment is not the environment I was presented. It's not the environment that I was welcomed with, because the one I was welcomed with was a wild, wild west where you can get off some. How outlandish you want to say some shit. I remember Meek Mill was sitting on the panel and he said, he had a, I take things with a grain of salt that he be saying, because he's saying some wild shit. But he was on a panel where he said an executive told him, I will financially incentivize you to talk about more violent subjects. And he was like kind of suggesting it and then telling him, like, look, if you do this, this could be a payday for you. I think about 21 Savage, who said, I would love to talk about financial literacy, but my label not trying to hear that. Because even him, the person he was when he got signed versus the person he was now that he's met all these billionaires, and he's changed the way that he looks at money, he's not even the same person, but he's still rapping about the same topics around the same circulating around. He has his moments and features, like the stuff he did with J. Cole was fire, but he's telling you, I can't even spread my wings the way that I know that I can, and the environment doesn't support that. I think you made a valid point. I think we absolutely did damage to our own culture. We did damage to our own self, and we accepted a lot of it. And a lot of the conversations of things that we usually wouldn't accept immediately became old versus young. Oh, you just don't get it. Oh, you know what? That's the problem with you old heads. You want real music. You want musician. We started to talk down about things that were actual skill sets. So then on the extreme end of that spectrum, you get someone coming up as an artist, a quote unquote artist now, who don't rap, don't like rapping, using Chat GPT for lyrics, got an image that they spent more time on the image than the actual music, and then it's presented to us as like, and then thank you for saying this, it's anti-intellectualism on steroids. I think it's really interesting, Screw, what you said earlier about the rise of the mentality of it's a vibe. You're overthinking it. You're doing too much. The rise of a vibe came at the same time that people would counter arguments where you're using your brain and say it's not that deep.
Yeah.
It's not that deep and it's a vibe. Might as well be brother and sister.
Yeah.
Because both of them are telling the recipient, stop using your mind and just fill it out.
How dare
now
you?
Yeah. Look where
Well,
we at now.
You know the crazy thing about the 21 Savage thing you said? And this has also been the greatest trick the devil ever told. The greatest trick the devil ever played in hip hop was convincing people that the people who don't have the most money aren't the most rapping people. And there's literally never been a period in hip hop where the top like 5 selling, yes, we're talking about selling rappers, weren't rappers who rap good. Whether you like them or not, it's always, look at the highest. We always do this when we go, the Lil Uzi Vert sound is popping right now. Let's re-emulate Lil Uzi Vert, and that's what the label does. But you know who's selling more than Uzi? Eminem. You know who's selling more than Uzi? Drake. You know who's selling more than Uzi? Kendrick.
J. Cole.
You know J. Cole. So it's like, why is it like the top 5 selling people are always people who can rap very well? That's always just been like a lie that we tell ourselves, and we've accepted where we go.
Well,
go ahead.
Real quick, Screw. This is where I do, because I'm with you. We got to have accountability for our own actions, but this is where I do give the labels and the machines part of the blame, because that's literally the business they're in, is making shit look like it's gold. And I feel like they place the focus on the things that they market with rappers. Like, when I think about the era of like the money phones and people were all doing that, I think that was a conversation from higher up. Like, yo, did you get a money phone feature? This went viral over here on Lil Uzi Verse. Like, you got one lined up. I think certain things like that just show you look like money, it attracts people who make money with very surface level views of the world. They don't think about all that rappity rap shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they play your shit on yachts. They play your shit at the Hamptons and all of that. I think that was the angle, is that's who they were going for. And the problem is, at some point in time in hip hop, folks said, yo, we should cross over, but it wasn't as egregious as this. Like, they would make themes that were generalized enough, but you could understand, you could put a DNA, you could put a name to what city that's from. Oh, that's from Compton. Oh, that's from Florida. Oh, that's from, it got to the point where things got so homogenized, artists didn't even sound like the place they were from. You couldn't even tell if somebody was from, you know what I'm saying, New York or Texas, or you know what I'm saying, are from Florida to California, or Atlanta to California, I should say. It just got to that point, and I feel like a lot of that was done as it may like you can't put all that blame on the labels and say, yeah, they're just this evil person that controls these people. No. I do feel like they present an opportunity that says, you see what we did for this person. If you can fall in line, who knows? Maybe that money could be for you too. And I think a lot of our obsession with likability, our obsession with wanting to be accepted by more people than just our people, the people who went that route, a lot of them are seeing this situation play out the way it is, and they're figuring out that people don't even like you. Like what happens, and I don't want to make it about Tyler and whatnot, but this kind of is related. What happens when you evolve yourself and you figure out, damn, I don't have a whole lot in common with my fan base. Like the things that I did to make a name for myself, I'm removed from that person and I'm at this place now. I don't really have a whole lot in common with these folks. Matter of fact, if you're an old version of me, I don't even like the old version of me. So I think there's a lot of people, man, that are having to figure out, yo, what am I going to do moving forward? And what is my position in this game? I don't think a lot of folks got answers, dog.
I think also what's happening with the hip hop, besides all the other reasons I said, another reason I think it's because artists are not speaking to what people want to hear right now. Like I think that's that, and people keep acting like it's a mystery, and it's like, well, just do the math, bro. If the last rapper who charted a lot was essentially making like Luther has a Luther Vandross sample. That song reminds me, like when I think of Luther and I see Luther, I close my eyes, the only thing I see is the wood. That movie it's soul. Like that song is soul. And then you have Not Like Us, which is essentially a protest. You know how you know Not Like Us is a protest song? Everybody, when they want to make a statement and when they're protesting against something, uses Not Like Us. So I go, okay, so what is the math right now? And then Drake is struggling to get one, and he's making more of the old guard, what was popping before. Young Thug is dying out here musically because he's making the same old guard. Everybody, and Gunna is popping. Do you know why? Because the number one thing I hear about Gunna when I do Gunna reactions or people talk about Gunna is, look at how much better his music is. He's actually talking about something. Even down to look at his health. He looks healthy. He looks good. It don't look like these people have been pushing poison for so long that I think that, like we said, every generation rebels against the last generation. And this is the rebellion of the last generation. I also ask people, when in hip hop has a sound been the sound for like 15 plus years? Because the sound that Drake, Future, and all them that have been pushing has been the sound for so long that you go, yeah, eventually people are going to be like, all right, let's get to the next, because it's become so stagnant. Like you said, I think the labels got lazy, the artists got lazy, and the fans got lazy all at the same time. Like people weren't even trying to elevate music anymore. And I think this is the first time where it's like, if you're 15 right now, you grew up and your brothers, sisters, like you say, your uncles were listening to Future, you're to the point now where you kind of want to hear something. So when Not Like Us drops, when Let God Sort Them Out drops, when the most talked about albums, even if it's not numbers, I don't care about that numbers thing. Let's talk about, we know when something impacts the culture. We can feel it. I hate that we've gone to a point where it has a bunch of white dudes in business suits got to show us a board of numbers before we can feel if something impacted or not, which is why we knew the Not Like Us shit was bullshit, because we felt it in our DNA. You couldn't. There was a time
if you're in the environments, you can't escape it.
Exactly.
Like it is so embedded in your neighborhood. It is so embedded in your day-to-day and what you're doing, because these are people. I heard Tony Robbins say it one time, not to cut you off. One time he said, you know why your best friend is your best friend? That person is either someone who you aspire to be like or somebody that you are just like. I think that you're talking about a generation now that the stats have sound like a Gen Z. They're not interested anywhere near what we were in clubbing.
Or sex scenes in movies.
Alcohol, the same alcohol consumption. Their habits are changing because, like you said, they've seen versions of, like, we literally see Was that Proof son that just made a song about
Yeah.
like he was proof to y'all, but that was my father dealing with addiction for these years? He put that into a song as a young up and coming artist. That narrative has never that perspective has not been given to somebody that we've looked at before in a light of like that's Proof. That's that's Eminem. That's the
Look at
legend.
Ghostface son. Like
But we're
people
in that
laughing
time
at
period. Yeah,
we've
Ghostface
never,
son. Yeah.
yeah, this is all that's I said. I think this and I'm gonna keep it tall. I love it.
Me
I
too.
love
Me too.
seeing it because
Me
I'm
too.
sick and tired of a lot of the stuff that's had us in a chokehold that we just sometimes won't admit this is bad for us. Like for some reason, we feel like if we accept it's bad, we're like cursing our own culture. That's not what we're doing. Like we can go, this some bullshit, man. And I
Yeah.
think the generation coming up right now, the youngins right now, are bold enough and don't have the fear that we were born into that they can just be like, hey, that's just stupid. And if you look at it, it's going on in everything. Look at how street culture in general, look at how the people who used to be celebrated for killing people. This was what we were brought up into. The toughest person was the person. It was all about the person behind the trigger. Now it's more about the person in front of the barrel, like the person who gets. So it's like that's better. Where people now go, oh, this motherfucker's stupid. In fact, the change happened in drill rap because I seen like from when King Von was alive to when King Von died, how that shit completely 360'd how people looked at that shit. So it's like now people aren't going, I don't see free XYZ as much as I see. Now, if he did that shit, keep that nigga, or that nigga was stupid. And if you really think about it, because you were born into free XYZ culture. But if you think about it, bro, that shit toxic as fuck. That's it.
Right, well, let me pose this question to you because now you got me thinking of the Soldier Boy era in a different way. Even if this wasn't their intent and they were just being young and rebellious, could it be, if we believe in a higher power and we're talking about the healing of a culture that had it's for as great as it always has been, it's gone through some eras of a lot of hypocrisy. Even in the beginning, we see some of the even the founders going through some weird ass accusations and cases and all of this stuff. Could it be part of the healing process is first, let's bring a generation that challenges the music for whatever surface level reasons. Now you bring a generation that questions its ethics down to the street code, down to the point where if by the time we come up out of here, it'll be more authentic than what it's ever been. Because now the stories in front of what you're writing about are matching what's happening behind the scenes. Because truth be told, I listen to a lot of the ladies who come into this space, a lot of them that are in these hip hop conversations, and a lot of them will reveal, yeah, that rapper that you hold up in such high esteem, that's such a fantastic lyricist, it's actually a shitty ass womanizer, beaten ass, domestic ass abuser. How does that change our perspective of this person that we held in such a high light? Do we now look at them for the human being they've always been and we take them off the pedestal? And is that good moving forward? I think a lot of this stuff is because if we're going to truly heal, and this is where I kind of reference my dog D1, if it's going to happen, it's got to get ugly before it gets better. And I feel like that's the periods we're coming out of where it's like,
that's what's happening.
It's a lot of OGs that I'm like, damn, not you too.
Here's what I say too to that, which is crazy. And by the way, these are my favorite type conversations in case niggas didn't know. Right. But the thing that I think is, I think our generation, or I don't even know if we're considered anyway. We're all millennials, right? We're both millennials. So I think our generation was like a generation that, especially in our older, we first started questioning like, hey, is this stuff good for us? We started questioning it. We were still like the little kids when they were the older men. Man, shut up. It was, oh, okay, all right, we're going to be. But I think, and then when we got old enough, we are very good at pointing out our OGs was bad. This was bad. We got very good at that. I think why things never really changed. It only started changing when I don't know if it's called Gen Alpha or whatever, came in, because they were the first people to not just go, they're bad. They go, we're kind of bad too. Damn. This was the first time we had to go, yes, it's easy to go, this person was a womanizer beater. It's a lot harder to go, was our culture kind of womanizing and kind of like da-da-da? And that's the conversations we're having now, where it's like, That's where true healing happens. Think about Watch the Party Die. I mean, the stuff that's going on is the reason why that Shannon Sharp, Cat Williams thing happened was because we are finally with enough people that go, let's start auditing all of this.
All of it.
When Nelly swiped that girl on the tip drill video. These are conversations we're now having, and even if we're like some people are overcorrecting, it's like I say, it's better that it changes. And I think the artists. This is the first time where I feel like the artists are very late to the show, to the last to get the memo, because they always got the memo from the label, and the labels don't care to give them this memo as much. I feel like the people are telling y'all, hey, Designer just went wild viral. And why? Because he rapped good.
But see, isn't that beautiful though? To your point, isn't that beautiful that it got discarded by the people who were empowered to change the narrative on a mass level, and it got back into the hands of the underground, back into the hands of the independent, to the point where Designer probably doesn't get this off in a room full of execs that are telling me, maybe even that good music. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit, bro. Like you, like keep going on your future shit. Like that's what I signed you for. Who knows if that's the kind of environment he's able to get these records off in.
And the crazy part is what is happening right now, and I think what we need to pay attention to is that stuff it takes a lot more to make that old sound work than it's taking for some of that people who are just rapping good and putting out content. The most talked about albums, the last most talked about albums, I don't care about the numbers, was Let God Sort Them Out, obviously GNX, but I'm saying came out in this life. Let God Sort Them Out, the JIT album, I always confuse those names. The JIT album, I heard people talking about Freddie Gibbs's album Crazy this year. Right. Don't Tap the Glass. These are all albums that we didn't hear about all them other albums really like that. We heard about Cardi's album. It kind of came and went. And if you minus those Kendrick features, those were to me some of the most talked about things on that thing. But regardless, it's because why Kendrick was rapping good.
And look at how much of a boost him rapping good on that song was for that project.
Exactly.
I don't know about you, because I don't know how much of a Cardi fan you've been in the past. I'm not. It's not for me. I'm not the demographic. But I never really took a chance to listen to it. But I'll tell you this: when that song came out, it was more of a story to cover that. And I know the fans of his were like, the biggest story is him actually releasing music after teasing it for so long. But that feature was the best look. Even when you think about how we view the clips and what they were in the early 2000s, one of the biggest moments of the year is still you got Kendrick to give you a guest feature on Chains and Whips. And then that becomes a moment. Think about how many moments we've had.
The Vatican, them going to the Vatican.
Dog, after the Vatican, and I'm not trying to say that this is all because of Kendrick. I'm saying that the environment has been prepared. So many things have been burnt down, and it's been prepared to where now we can build these buildings on solid foundation. I even seen someone earlier that said it's going back to the beginning. No. The point I'm making, there were flaws in the beginning that got overlooked because some people got silenced. We're in a time period where you can't do that. You can't run them same plays, because all it takes is a person with a TikTok account and a story and the algorithm that'll push it to everybody that will get that conversation going. When you live in an era where if I get off of a Southwest Airlines flight and I start talking shit on Twitter and it gets enough retweets, nigga, Southwest Airlines will hit me and rectify the situation. That's the time period we're in. That didn't happen in the 80s and in the early 90s. You know, people got left in the customer service line or emails and all that. We live in a time period where you got to have it's accountability. Everything is done publicly. And I really feel like a lot of that is coming down to hip hop, where if we're really going to have a culture that thrives, forget the charts. Like, culturally speaking, people don't validate us.
I always say like this chart conversation. Some of the most classic people do this revisionist history, and I guess I just have to I know all of hip hop, like the whole story. That I go, some of the greatest albums that we say are the best albums, a lot of them, I would almost argue most of them did not sell well. Illmatic didn't go.
Illmatic is one of those. That was the first one I thought about.
Reasonable Doubt didn't sell crazy the first week. Like, we literally do this thing where it's like, we never, and I'm telling you, the only time we really started caring, I'm telling you, was when 50 Cent started beefing with not even Ja Rule as much as it was with Cam. It was that conversation when he was like, people didn't know what the RIAA was. The common fan did not know. I do not remember listening to Hot in Here and someone was like, yo, you know this only did 500,000 first week, right? Like, I
stop dancing. Yeah.
Like, I don't remember knowing this stuff until 50 Cent said, oh, you only did this much, and then people started using that as an insult and stuff. So it's like, yeah, if you really love this, and this is why I think it's actually a good thing, because it's going to weed out a lot of people who are only listening to this for the vibes, who listen to this because they thought it made them look cool. The same people who are like, wait, you guys can talk to girls without playing Drake music? How? Those are the people who are going to weed out, because it's like, when people say it's going back to the beginning, I think it's really just going back to the people, to the fans of it. And I think the people who are having real crisis moments are the people who are just listening to it to look crazy, look cool. Because I go, my dude, like, I still, and maybe because I still remember a time I had no idea what a song did, and it never mattered. Like, I never knew.
I want to know how because I'm gonna give you two comparisons that's gonna for sure age me, but I need to say this because I remember this shit. Remember when N1 mixtape started really picking off, like after Volume 3, and like niggas was like going at 6 a.m. to Foot Action to go get a VHS tape and buy a pair of socks? Do you remember how many street ball players emerged in that era because of that, who were trying to do tricks and all of this?
Oh, I was
on top of that, dog. I ain't had handles. I could barely. I had boosies. I could tap, whatever. I'll tell you this. My shot was terrible. They say I shot like Reggie Miller, but that's another story for another day. I do think it's interesting what happened also when 8 Mile dropped. And I can't imagine those who were battle rapping, as much as the part of them might have been excited about this elevation around the culture and what they're doing, I can't imagine the other folks that were like, oh shit, we finna have so many B-Rabbit knockoffs jumping into this culture because of this. They go into a movie theater and they got inspired and now they want to come into these battle scenes. I can't imagine.
Bro, I'll give you a real life example. It's crazy you said that. Actually, battle rap, this happened in battle rap. When Total Slaughter happened, like, because obviously everybody knows battle rap. I've known, bro, I could rap to you, Party Artie versus like all this shit. But anyway, when I was listening to battle rap, consuming battle rap, all together in battle rap groups, when Total Slaughter happened and Eminem came in, that's exactly what happened. That is exact. Literally, the battle rap fit, like us, we were like, ooh, it's gonna get real casual here. It's gonna get real casual here in a second. And it really kind of that also happened, ironically, when because it went like that, then it kind of leveled off. But then it kind of happened again when Drake got into battle rap.
Yeah,
during the Caffeine era, bro.
People are saying like,
battle rap is dead or dying, or there's not money in it, which it's a whole nother thing. But they're saying that because there was an inflation and artificial inflation of money, of looks, and which brought fake fans. And Drake was the spearhead of that, literally. Yeah. And then as soon as they left and were like, okay, because they're not beholden to the culture, they took those people with them. And then now it's people acting like, well, this is a bad thing. Obviously it's a bad thing if there's not the same money. Now, I think they made mistakes with money. But it's like, I look at it where it goes, is it a bad thing? Or is it
a bad thing?
Yeah, or is it really just back to us who really liked it? And I know like we got used to like, don't ever get used to the inflated bag. If we were slowly grinding for 10 years and we started 500 and on year 10 we got to 5,000 a battle. If year 11 they inflate 20 a battle, they start getting 20 a battle for 3 years. Don't think that that's the baseline now. That's what happens when we get this thing with the hip hop, where we got an inflation of artificial fans, artificial streams, artificial everything. And then we thought that was the baseline.
It's like entrepreneurs during the pandemic. When they got that spike in sales, they were like, oh, I got a business now. Like, dog, I kid you not. I had a company that I was looking for because my grocery stores were chaotic like everybody else. And I was like, I wonder if there's any subscription services to toilet paper. And I found a company. And unfortunately, the toilet paper was pink. That was the only catch. I was like, but you can get here in a day. Cool. I'll fucks with it.
During the pandemic, I'm taking pink toilet.
During the pandemic, they went crazy. They sold so much, they didn't have enough. This doesn't make sense. They sold so much, they didn't even have enough money to do business anymore because of how much they were running through the product. Dog. Yeah. They what do they say? Grand opening, grand closing. Yeah. At the beginning of the pandemic and the end, they were like, unfortunately, we got to cancel your subscription because we're no longer in business. I can't think of all of the new entrepreneurs that came into the space like, man, I always wanted to do this, but my job was taking up so much time. And now you think that is your new reality. Then you realize in 2021 and 2022, when people get back to work, it's not that. It ain't that.
A great example that we both are going to feel.
What's that?
This the same thing that happened. Now, I've been doing YouTube forever, so I've seen this. I already know. I know when the back down.
I already know what you're about to say.
When the back down, the storm is coming. This is exactly happened with YouTube and the Kendrick versus Drake shit. I'm telling you, bro. It's funny because there was a new baseline, and I'm really talking about because if you're here right now and you survived it and you are you were really here because your content, right?
Right.
People forget that there are people, and maybe it's even more in the reactor community, that came and because they thought people started panicking and stopped it because they thought that was the baseline. And I go, no,
ain't no damn baseline.
Artificial, it's not even artificial, an inflation. Yeah. Do not look at that as your baseline, because what happens is when it reverts back to regular, which is happening, you now think that is a negative. It's like, no. It's just going back down to your regular strength. You've been on steroids this whole time. This is what your actual strength is.
And then you look around and you like, so like, y'all still do this anyways? Like, what do y'all do? What kind of stories y'all do? I never forget when and you know what I started noticing? And this is when I stopped engaging. I started even blocking other content creators. I said, oh, y'all ran out of so much content that now we got to become the new content. You got to create additional situations, because you look at your live numbers. You like, another thing about Curtis King. His lineup don't line up.
Oh yeah, I don't got
anything about Curtis King. Is I seen that and I was like, oh, I get it. It like ironically, what you said earlier was so brilliant, because I think it happened to this new age of reactors. And I feel like I'm still fairly new, even though I've been on YouTube, but I'm still new to the reaction community. I say this happened. The same thing that we just said happened to hip hop and how it kind of like cannibalized itself. The reactor community started doing that.
Oh yeah.
Well, not the bigger ones, but so many of the ones that came into this space and didn't really have a passion for this started cannibalizing themselves to the point where I remember people demanding a video. When you gonna do a video about Anthony Fantano? You know how like in a moment that might have sounded like that was something that needed to be done. Now you know how stupid that sounds.
Well, it's the same thing where I go like, I don't care about what you cover or what you don't cover. It's more of and like I said, I look at myself as like a young OG in this game. Like a young OG. I've just seen so many bubbles burst and whether you're covering Drake and Kendrick, we're doing it right now. Keep doing it. My thing is, you can clearly tell the people who thought this shit was a lick and didn't realize you're gonna have to work. Yeah, it's gonna get. Yeah. I noticed it, and I was gonna say this and I forgot, because this was to my point where when I noticed the climate was people were demanding something more lyricism, more battle. More. When I knew was the Joey, that whole battle, the Joey TDE thing. That's when I went, wait a minute. Yeah. Daylight is one of the most talked about people in the culture right now. Even if it was for those weekends, I knew as somebody who's watched Daylight since him and Philly Swain, since before he had the patch on his face.
Right.
When I went, oh, this is showing, even if it doesn't last, this could have never happened 2 years ago. Prior, this could have, there was not.
This is how I knew they wasn't invested, because Screw, how could you see that and not say, oh shit, we got action here?
Yeah.
We're talking no disrespect to Joey Badass, no disrespect to Daylight when I say this, but we're talking about this as primetime news.
Exactly.
And it's not
this
because
everybody's watching.
This and dog, all the artists that popped up, we had content for weeks. I had content I couldn't even get to with so many responses that were popping up.
New artists who are now like in my algorithm. Like the first time I saw Kai Cash was this.
Kai Cash, yeah.
First time I saw, I think Dimes was that. The first time I saw, so like, and these are people now that are just in my algorithm that I see. Right. So I went like, that's when I knew about two things. That's when I knew people wanted more lyricism, more battle rap, more stuff like that, more things that made people feel things. And that's also when I knew, that was when I knew, if I'm just going to be all the way transparent, who was going to be around for this reactor shit for long. That's what I knew. Because
what was it about that? What was it about that made you know? How did you know?
I saw when certain people tried to pivot and transition, and it didn't work, and they went, I'm not paying attention to this anymore. Back to this stuff. And then when I went, that's not, you can always go back to, but if you can't cover the biggest stuff and keep it going, you haven't got fans yet. And I've seen those people.
I tell you why, Screw. Am I Charleston white boys? The battle had so many niggas involved. That's why. I tell you, that's why it happened. That's exactly why it happened. Because you can't bring that racist shit in. If you come into that conversation, imagine coming into the battle conversation of a Joey Badass versus a Rayvon and saying, yeah, man, it's like that slave music. Both their fan bases gonna look at you and say, and who the hell are you? Like, what are you doing here?
I noticed, like, one thing I noticed about even like the OVO stan accounts, I noticed in the beginning of that battle, they tried to like pivot themselves in it to try to find an angle to troll from, right? And they're going to be like, oh, we're going to be on the Joey side, da 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 da. I realized that nobody, that was like, I think they even realized, oh, they don't give a fuck about us.
It's some OVO refugees.
Yeah, let's just let them have it. At a certain point, I stopped seeing them. Now, I think I definitely, one thing I really didn't like from that thing was actually I started seeing like a lot of bad stuff, I think, from the Kendrick stands too, like when like some Kendrick accounts and some of the attacks Joey got and some of the vitriol that Joey got was just and I feel like it was because nobody cared to the OVOs to such a point that people just was like, let's just start fighting each other. Like, let's just, because there's no, and like I said, both sides of that stand-up are supercharged to fight. Mm-hmm. That's their number one thing, is to fight. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. It's supercharged. And sometimes that's my fear. And I said this about this, the problem with stand-up is sometimes when you are a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? So when no,
you can't go nowhere further. Hold on. Let that simmer for a second.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
One more time, sir.
I said, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So sometimes when you don't actually have a nail to hit,
right,
you start hitting thumbs, you start hitting fingers, you start hitting because you don't have, and that's why I go stand-up. What it does is it supercharges you, where you're no longer even just enjoying the thing you like, you're more fighting the thing you don't. Mm-hmm. And that's not the same thing as being a fan of something. You're more like, if there's nobody to fight, I'm going to find something to fight because I don't know how to just embrace this and enjoy it. I don't know why people like, there are people who don't like Joey because for the life of me, I can't understand that. Like, I cannot understand that. PDE still likes Joey. That's why I cannot for the life of me understand.
Well, I think a lot of people take what is it called when they vicariously live through somebody? What's the phrase that it's been a hot term the last few years of people living vicariously through these people's lives as if they're actually friends with them, as actually they're actually.
The word popped up in my head and then it just disappeared. I know exactly.
Parasocial. That's what it is. And it's funny because I heard you say that before. You said it in one of your stand videos. It's like y'all in these parasocial relationships. And you don't realize after a certain point, shout out to the chat, they let me know. Shout out to after a certain point, you don't realize the rest of the world sees this is no longer an issue that you have with a fan base. This is a personal, internal issue that existed way before. This is just an opportunity. Like one of my marketing teachers had a saying, money is not just the root of all evil. It's the magnifying glass to who you are. And I think these opportunities for these conversations, these battles, even when I think about some of the Nicki stands and the Nicki Minaj stands, I don't really be feeling like people going that hard for her as much as they're going hard for a version of themselves.
That's really when, and the first people to do that was the stands. People forget what a stand is. Like, people forget who created that and why he created it. I feel like people will proudly call themselves stands, and it's like, you could have never listened to the song Stand. Like, it's such a weird phenomenon that, like, in the song, he literally kills his baby mother and his unborn child and himself because of his obsession. He brutalizes his girl because of his obsession with somebody. He ruins a life, and then people go, that is what I am. It would be like if you made a song called Henry's, and a Henry is like a sexual predator, right? Because we're talking about levels.
That's no disrespect to any Henrys in here, but that
no disrespect to any
that's not realistic as shit. You call it, hey, nigga, call me a Henry. Hey, my boy, you want to step outside?
Okay, let's call him Glory. Let's just say
let's stay with Henry. Let's stay with Henry.
Okay,
that's not
a song called Henry, and it's about being a sexual predator, right?
Goddamn Henry.
If 20 years from then, and people are gonna be like, well, that's different. No, that means you haven't listened to Stan. That means you have it's not. He kills somebody in the song because of his obsession with Eminem.
Are you surprised? You saw the way they try to decipher Kendrick's lyrics.
Yeah.
Are you surprised they have no ability to decipher nuance and depth within lyrics?
But that's why I go, it's like, you gotta start getting to the point where if you are a stan of anything, that's not a good thing. That is a bad thing. That is a bad thing. You gotta stop yourself and go, does this? And that's why I say on both sides, what stans do is make the regular people just not want to engage in that thing. And sometimes I go like, if Kendrick really disappears right now, I think there's going to be a problem. I think there's a rabid.
You said if Kendrick disappears?
If Kendrick disappears, don't drop nothing else, and goes on one of those like 10-year, 4 or 5 year hiatuses.
Yeah.
And even if Drake does, I think there's going to be a problem with some of those accounts, because of course you're going to keep regurgitating the same stuff. Right. But like I said, I've seen what happens in the lull periods when there's no Kendrick stories. I've seen like infighting and stuff like that, where I just go like, this is no longer about enjoying this person. And I always said too, what it doesn't scare me, but what they're doing is some of the time is taking away Kendrick's best power. Because what Standom does is it almost makes it be like, because you know what a stan will do is anytime somebody does something wrong, they'll try to show you how it's right or how they didn't do that thing. So what you're implying by that is you like this person because they're perfect. Because in your eyes, they're perfect. Well, what Kendrick's superpower was he was always a good kid in a mad city. It was that he lit his flaws. And I think even Kendrick feels this when he says certain lines like, you stay with one girl, everything's tricky right now. That's not just a line of making fun of Drake. That's a paranoid line. Because I think when you have now made it where he's damn near a perfect figure, when his whole thing was, I'm a flawed figure, the moment he does something that is not perfect, it's going to hit 100 times harder than if we just accepted this nigga as a human being. That's why I go, you niggas did not listen to Mr. Morale. You did not. There's no way that y'all are doing this and you listen to Mr. Morale. You did.
Could you imagine if he never did Mr. Morale, how much they would be digging? Like, they're already digging for whatever they can on him. Exactly. Could you imagine if he never was proactive? I really still to this day, I haven't had a conversation with him about it. But I promise you, and it's funny, the day he DM'd me during the battle was when I was quoting stuff from Mr. Morale. And I'm like, I wonder if he did that as a way of saying this. And it's ironically, it's the same thing that Eminem did to his character in 8 Mile. Like, I am the I am the I do got a friend named Cheddar Bob. You lay it all out. So then it's like, what are you going to use as ammo when I've already given this to you? This to me, with Shadow, this is Ashley. She said, if the version of yourself that you fight for, if the version of yourself that you fight for loses, that means you are a loser and have to unpack some issues within yourself. Nah, it's easier to throw stones in a losing battle. I think that's a bar. That's a bar. And I really do feel like now when you think about that project, he had to release that and put all of his stuff out there the way that it is. You ain't gonna talk about my aunt. You're not gonna talk about my relationship. You're not gonna talk about, who I am as a man and how I view myself. Matter of fact, I'm gonna even talk about how much how much work I'm doing on myself by looking at how, what do you say, Kendrick and Kanye, when they was all being buddy buddy, and he's like, I don't know if I got that in me to do it like that. Talking about father issues. I think that's the thing about it, is that you laid that out. So now, what are you going to say that I wouldn't say about myself?
Here's why I think when doing the he's perfect thing is actually the opposite of what Kendrick wants to say. And I notice an example of that is like in the battle, right? When Drake misquoted or misunderstood the lyric from Mr. Morale, where he was talking about his getting, the sexual abuse, people were killing him because he misunderstood it. But I go, let's pretend there's a world he didn't misunderstand it. That to me is actually going against what Kendrick was trying to do by telling us that. He's trying to bear something out, right? He's trying to bear that this happened, right? Because even the way Drake understood it, it's still talking about sexual assault, even if he mistargeted who it is. And the reason why people were like, that's wrong, is because it was wrong. But what if it was right? Kendrick's whole point was, no. Let's talk about being sexual abuse. Let's talk about it. And
that's a great point. Either way, we're talking about it. Either way, the mission accomplished, because now we're having difficult conversations in a time where hip hop stays I shouldn't say hip hop, mainstream rap stays the furthest it can from topics like that, because that's not a vibe.
But I also feel like with us going like, no, it's wrong because he misinterpreted, is getting that wrong. And I started seeing the snake eating its tail with the Playboy Cardi feature thing, right? Where people are like, yo, he's a hypocrite. And the vitriol, like, even if you didn't think he was a hypocrite, the vitriol that people came in and went, he's not, because this, that, and this, that, and the third. I went, Kendrick is a hypocrite. Kendrick tells us he's a hypocrite.
He told you.
He wants us to know he's a hypocrite. So I feel like y'all are trying to go, he's not a hypocrite. No, that's not how you win that argument. You win that argument by going, yeah, he's a hypocrite. We all are.
How could you think somebody who is not ready to have their own conversations about bearing their skeletons, how could you expect them to be ready to have that kind of conversation? That's when I started stop engaging, because I realized, as much as somebody can say something to press your button and get under your skin, you know so little about them if they're a faceless avatar. You know so little about them if they popped up out of nowhere, if they just created their account this year. You know so little about them that you just got to take for a sec. Like, it requires a level of empathy for me to receive this vitriol and be like, well, what about you? What position as a human being, what environment do I have to be in for this to be a part of my day-to-day reality? And would I be able to understand somebody who's bearing it all if that concept is terrifying to me? If that sounds like an assassination of the mask that I wear on a regular basis, that doesn't look like humility. That looks like stupidity.
I feel like it's like Tupac. If you're a Tupac fan, you know Tupac's a hypocrite. That's what made his music so beautiful, because we all are hypocrites. And we got to stop doing this thing where we project perfectness onto other people as if we're perfect. No, to be a Tupac fan is to know he's going to do a misogynistic song, then he's going to do Brenda's Got a Baby. Because, sometimes, and which could be right, wrong, indifferent, whatever. But sometimes you feel like, how do you want it? And sometimes you feel like Brenda's Got a Baby.
Wait. We got a Drake question, though. Why is it cool for Kendrick to be a hypocrite and not Drake?
Who said it's not cool for Drake to be it's what you're a hypocrite about. Who said it's not okay for Drake to be a hypocrite? We accepted Drake was a hypocrite a long time ago. Drake is somebody who made music about why women run away from him, but then makes music where you go, well, this is why women run away from you. He has songs about, listen to Poetic Justice, now that theory is coming out. If you listen, he's calling himself essentially a hypocrite. What the difference between Drake's hypocrisy, and we can't use everything in a vacuum for trying to get a got you moment, is there's context. If your hypocrisy is going to hurt freedom of speech, going to hurt artists, then that is not something I'm doing to listen or make your music sound better, or I care about your music. You could be a hypocrite in your music all you want. You could say, there are rappers who said, as Black people, we need to come together. And then on the next song, say, if I see a nigga move wrong, I'm gonna blow their shit off.
Right.
That's different. In your art, you could be a hypocrite. In real life, when you're being a hypocrite and you're doing Donald Trump-esque shit, that's not the same thing. And I could also say, Drake is a hypocrite, and it's okay that he is a hypocrite. What he's being a hypocrite about is about to damage a lot of people, so I'm going to speak against it.
I do feel like, I mean, such a valid point, Doug. I appreciate you even suggesting this today, because this was such a great conversation. This is rich. It's something where I got a long live stream after this, and I'm about to wrap up in a second, but I needed this for my hip hop soul. Needed this today.
Oh, yeah. No,
first of all, round of applause for my dog, man. Without a doubt, man. Always love these conversations. I will say this is a big part of it too. Is that when you think of that story that we grew up on called the Emperor's New Clothes, or the naked emperor who was walking in the middle of the city and had his head up, and he didn't realize why people were laughing at him. He lacked a level of self-awareness, and that was the big takeaway from that story. I think with Kendrick, he has made it very, very clear, like overly clear, that even the things he doesn't understand about himself, he'll place that out there for you to judge. Or he'll tell a story, like Immortal Man. He'll tell a story, The Power of a Dollar. He'll tell a story of a perspective where he has been a hypocrite, and he's telling, I'm working through this. With Drake, I think that a lot of his earlier music may skew towards more vulnerability. But what you see now in the music that is sort of the more recent one, it's more dodging accountability. It's more, everything's going good. What do you mean everything is falling apart around me? What are you talking about? I'm still the same person I was 7 years ago. I feel like the one thing that's been missing since the battle has been a level of humility from him that's like, I got smoked. What the hell was I thinking? It's been him trying to convince us he did not fall. Every move that you see. And then you went to court. You did the most hip hop shit and sued your label. It was really, you essentially tried to sue Kendrick because of the song. And then as you were suing in the lawsuit, you were still taunting your competitors. You were still taunting the other side with the protection of the law. Now we're looking at your character and being like, you think we can't see you? Because now I think people look at him and think about somebody from their walk of life and be like, you just like this bitch ass nigga. You just like this person I grew up and went to school with. He used to always do bad shit, but then go snitch on. Like, people start to see you as a different perspective. I remember talking to Devi Dev, and we had an interview, and she made me realize that even there were women that were looking at him and saying, like, you're no longer the younger Drake that they put the poster on the wall in their bedroom. Now you're looking like the creepy uncle. Because now you're still hanging out in these clubs around young girls. You're still making songs that hopefully the younger demographic, like your refusal to have that transparency, your refusal to evolve, your refusal to grow. I think these are things that make it very different when you talk about hypocrisy. He himself probably doesn't feel like he's a hypocrite based upon the way he talks about things. He's still talking about, what did I miss? How could y'all switch up on me? I didn't do nothing to y'all but put y'all on. Are you kidding me?
Well, I also think that question almost fundamentally misses the point that I was making about deifying people like Kendrick when he's telling you, please don't deify me. The point that I'm saying is Kendrick presents that he's a hypocrite. So when you try to present him like he's not, it's going to only hurt him in the future. He knows he lives his truth. Drake does the opposite. Though he's a hypocrite, he tries to guise it in a thing of perfection, which is why his fans, the way they argue is by his accolades and his perfection. And I say the way that what you cannot do is make Kendrick that person, because Kendrick, his entire career has been saying, do not make me that person. I'm not perfect. I'm going to mess up. One thing I noticed is when people were like, when someone's like, you never know if like Kendrick and Whitney had issues. Not talking about like getting hit or nothing like that.
Right.
Saying they don't, maybe they've had rocky, and there've been people who are like jumping, but no, they are the happiest couple. And I'm telling you, it sounds like I'm making this up. This is real shit where you're fighting, and I go, why would you do that? Like, yeah, if maybe you've never been in a relationship before, there is no such a thing as a relationship, especially when it's lasted as long as they have, that doesn't have periods of ups and downs.
Yeah.
So like, instead of going, let's pretend this is perfect, that's how I defend it, just go, yeah, they probably haven't. Neither have you. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. That's how you kill that argument.
And can we not take the focus away? Neither have you. I think to wrap this up in a nice conclusion, I think that's the biggest point that I'm getting from this is, even as I'm seeing a person that I put their comment up, I can't help but feel like you're not defending Drake anymore. You're defending your own beliefs. You're defending your own ways of, you know, the way that the protection of the world that you created around yourself. You're just applying Drake's name to it. And I think we all, in essence, kind of do that based upon our beliefs and the things that we believe in. I look at this and I say, there's a lot of people who are, even on the side, like you said, of Kendrick, who are projecting, oh no, everything's perfect. We are naturally more suspect of things that are projected as perfect on TikTok. Things that are perfect families on YouTube. And you find out they got all kind of weird, crazy shit that happened behind closed doors.
Unraveling Drake was when we found, wait a minute, you're not perfect. That's what it started, when everybody was just, and those narratives of hip hop is not, that's why I said those narratives of hip hop is not in a good place if Drake isn't dropping, actually hurts Drake more than, especially when he's dropping 40 songs. So as soon as you know that, you go, oh, wait a minute. So you're just saying he ass right now. That's just what you're really saying.
The funny thing about that is, what do they think? What kind of argument do they think they make when they say, man, it's so boring without Drake? And this nigga's at the party like, I'm literally here performing.
He's behind him like, man, I wish Drake was here. I'm here. That's literally where I went. And that's where I also go, I believe a lot of these niggas were never Drake fans. Right. I believe that some of us growing up were actual Drake fans. I don't believe they were Drake fans. I think they were fans of Drake's aesthetic and us all agreeing that Drake was like the ladies' man. So if you do that, and then now they're proving they don't listen to Drake by telling you Drake isn't around.
He's like, I literally just dropped an album. I literally
2 albums.
I got look. It's got to be the craziest thing, because it's like looking at a one-sided glass. And like you in one of the Saw movies, you look at a one-sided guy and you screaming out, save me, and they're just like, oh, I can't see anything on this one-sided glass. He's literally right here. So now you're saying the music is ass because the music is boring now, where he's been the one that's been trying to supply you in your chart desires. You release an album, oh man, it was better when he was on top. So what are you saying? What were you really proving an argument for? You messed me up today when you said that part about some of those OVO fans actually being anti-Drake.
Bro, if I'm telling you
on that, bro, that shit got me thinking.
And it's not even necessarily do I believe that they're like purposely like, I'm here to tank Drake. I just think that they're just such trolls. They don't care about Drake. They just like the engagement of what's going on. So, and since you don't have to show your face, there's a different level of not giving a fuck when you don't have to show your face, bro. That's like, you gotta remember, since we show our face, I think we take that for granted. Like, bro, there is a different level of not giving a fuck when you know you're never really gonna be attached to what you're saying. So they
you ever watch the episode of Catfish? You ever watch the episode of Catfish? That'll tell you everything you need to know about the shit you say.
Well, they're like, they don't give a damn. They don't. Some of these people know they look crazy and think it's just funnier to do this than it is to be an actual Drake fan.
I done seen people say, I'm dying of cancer. That's why I can't text you back. You're dying of cancer? Is that what you really just said right now in this Catfish message? That is the power of being anonymous. I won't lie to you. Back in the early days of like AIM and the early days of like chat rooms on the internet, I used to try to talk my shit. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Like, I'm probably gonna get a Mercedes next week if I can. It's just too much power given to you at that moment. You can be whoever you want. But
nobody's tougher on the internet than somebody who don't have to show their face, and nobody is less tough Bruh, okay, this is one last story for you.
Go ahead, Cook.
Because we were the last generation that was outside, and I'm like I don't know if I'm like a middle millennial, so I'm like we were still outside, but we were born, like raised with the internet, and really I was like super raised with the internet. But I remember there was this one person in high school. They had a Xbox Live account. This is right when I think Halo just was it Halo 3?
Mm-hmm.
It dropped, right? And it was when everybody was going live right in the beginning of like Xbox Live and shit like that. And you know how Xbox Live,
right?
It's just never.
Wow.
Here's the wildest thing. I don't know if people just weren't hip to the internet like that back then. Tell me why. We found out who one of those people were, and they went to our school, brother.
How?
I can't even remember, but I want to say it was like their little sister. I think it was their little sister also went to school with us.
Shit.
The little sister outed this person. And I think somehow we found out who it was. And let me tell you,
body left his soul.
The difference, but I think every troll should have that moment in their life. When I'm not even going to tell you the rest of the story, but it was one of the moments where like, oh, this person's a troll, and then we found out exactly who it was.
Right. The money I'd pay for the look in the face, because I've seen that look in the face before, where it's like, it's been to the point where it'll be somebody that just looks suspect at a show that I did. Like I did a show. It's a performance. There's somebody in the corner that's just like sipping a drink from the side, not really watching the show. Didn't say nothing to me the whole night. Maybe like they nod their head. And at the end of the night, I go to my Twitter news feed. At Curtis King, acting like a bitch inside there. He wouldn't even talk to me. And then I look a little bit further at the profile picture, and it's like a little bit, pixelated and dark. I said, "Oh, that was your bitch ass." Oh, the whole time that was you. And they so quiet. Not even like I'm some big tough guy, but they so quiet. And I think also because they realized our cameras make us look a lot shorter than what it is in real life.
I heard that. Like, it's weird because, like, I'm very tall. I don't think people know that. Like, I'm a tall dude. Like, so there's been a couple of times where I've seen a couple, like, even other content creators.
Right.
And then been like, "Whoa, my bad."
Well.
Hey. I ain't even gonna say it. Nah, let me check.
No, look. What hey, Screw. Now that we're in front of each other, I just want to say things got misconstrued. It's completely blown out of proportion. Probably my fault more than anything else. I just want to say I appreciate what you do. Don't you give me that shit. Don't give me that shit.
And sometimes to a point, for the most times it slides because I like, but there be sometimes, oh Lord have mercy. Oh Lord have mercy.
I know. That might be a conversation for another day because they're not letting their foot off the gas. I want to acknowledge some of these super chats before we get up out of here. We appreciate you, Screw. Screw saw you in your son's adorable smoking stack costume, says Tatter Reaper.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
That's why he can't get that number one. UMG took the bots. They took it like T.I. took that Lauren London and took that chain. Said, "Give me that chain back."
That's why I said all these 35 billion. We'll see, man. We'll see because that's.
Also, remember that Young Thug jail phone call? We were just talking about that. Have a connection to a person who does the botting. Yeah, that conversation did come up. Thank you for the super chats, by the way. That's the insidious thing about music. They put everything in our faces, but we didn't really recognize the BS until decades later. Yeah, to our credit, we had to mature. We had to see enough characters that were representations of them. Pink Starburst says, people joining forces to roast Carter 6 was hilarious. I think that was the one take all of us was like,
yeah. I'm the biggest Lil Wayne fan ever, and I can't defend that shit. That was awful.
He hit you up. I'm about to say, I was like, I know Screw ain't gonna say. I was like,
I'm the biggest. That shit hurt my body. Like, people be thinking like, I don't know, like I don't care about. There's not a stand thing. I don't care. Like Lil Wayne, I don't care what Drake do. Lil Wayne is one of my favorite rappers and always be. And the next Carter I'm ready for. I don't give a damn. Don't peanuts elephant me. No peanuts, no elephant.
Don't peanuts. Whoa, hey, yeah. Don't throw no peanuts, no elephants around me. So Little said one said, seeing the clips perform Birds Don't Sing at Dia de los Deftones was beautiful. It was like they made their offender to their parents as well. Man, a fantastic year, dog. I don't care who wins at them Grammys. Hip hop gonna win, and that's the thing I'm excited about.
That's another. felt like where I started seeing the stand-up start like this. I always say the quote I always use: "The snake started eating its tail." Where I
Yeah.
was just like, when people were really like going at. Now I get like what Joe Budden and them said, and I
Right.
guess the tone wasn't filmed, but we knew what they were saying, and I guess I defend that stuff because I come from barbershop talk. So, bro,
Yeah.
that's how we talk.
That's how it
Like,
is.
what?
That's
So
like
we can't even talk like that no more.
That's like bringing your friend and never been in that environment, and they start clapping their hands. What I'm saying is, they about to fight. Everything okay?
Exactly.
Why they clapping their hands like that? Michelle
Boys
King
swinging the straight razor, talk about no reasonable doubt. It's the greatest
almost
album.
cut him. He almost cut him. This is a hostile environment. I can't come back here to get a haircut. I go back to Supercuts. Michelle King said, I saw a tweet today that said rap isn't dying, it's detoxing. No truer words ever spoken. I like that. I like that. And for those who have gone through it, thank you, Dominique, too, for becoming a YouTube member. For those who go through a detox process, you know how shitty you feel in the first few days because all of that nonsense and toxic stuff is passing through your body. It got one way in, one way out.
Yeah.
So this is what I think that's what's happening. I think that's what's happening broadly within the culture. I believe that hip hop, as it was originally planned, as something that is based in the community, as something that is a voice of the voiceless, young, old, middle, it doesn't matter what age you are. I think it is going back home, and I don't think to a certain degree, for some people, their experience, it never left home, but seeing how it got abused, seeing how it got even pushed into the forefront and popularized in these mainstream spaces, it's almost like getting with somebody for very surface level reasons, and then you figure out by the end of that marriage, never really liked you. They was just like what they saw. It was surface level. I think now hip hop is going back home, and you're seeing underground artists. You're seeing artists locally that are making sounds that are representative of where they're from. You're seeing folks like my dog Screwface popping out and making music that I'm sure rivals the plays and streams that you do of your favorite artist that is signed, because good music is just good music, and it's not hard to find nowadays, especially if you're looking. Hello. I think we're in a very special time period, and I salute you, bro, and I appreciate you for always putting yourself on the front line, putting your brand on the front line, because this shit ain't easy, because we got families and people that are affected when our energy is low. It's a lot to do this, man.
We ain't got budgets. This is all us.
Yeah. This is all us.
We don't got no budget, so remember that.
Come on. So with that said, DIYers, I appreciate you. Thank you once again, Screw. You mind if I play a quick commercial? It's a minute commercial for this Critique My Beats trailer tournament for those who are going to be joining us in my 3:30 stream. You mind if I play this real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, back to the studio with Curtis A. Smith. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Curtis A. Smith. If you're watching this video, it means that we're live inside the Critique My Beats tournament headquarters. This is where independent artists and music producers are putting forth their best songs or beats in a head-to-head elimination battle all week long. Over the next week, songs and beats will collide, careers will be highlighted, and by the end of the week, one champion will take home the grand prize. The finalists will be voted on by a jury of your peers, by your fellow DIYers here in a live stream for Critique My Beats on Friday. And the stakes, oh, they are real. Our winner will receive $200 cash prize, a free one-on-one coaching call with yours truly, a Curtis King feature verse, a Curtis King beat. The winning track will also be uploaded as a collaboration post on my YouTube channel. And last but not least, you will receive a lifetime supply. Yes, I said a lifetime supply of music critiques, courtesy of CritiqueMyBeats.com. If you think your song or beat has what it takes, now is your moment. And if you think you got what it takes, don't forget to sign up to CritiqueMyBeats.com. Don't sit this out. Submit your track today and join the bracket and take your shot at history. I'm Curtis A. Smith, and you're watching Critique My Beats tournament all week long, streaming on Curtis King TV. My aura's on 1,000, I know. The Who's are gonna love this. The Who's love it. Thank you, Curtis A. Smith. I appreciate you, Curtis A. Smith, there inside the studio. You'll be joined by him at 3:30, and you'll hear that when you hear that. Okay, thank you once again. Back at the home studio now with my dog. Screwface, I just want to say thank you once again, dog. We got to do some of this more often, especially as these topics started to move. Let me publicly apologize. When I was on my Drake strike, I couldn't do no reactions to these amazing songs. You know, I still promoted and show love on other social medias. But now that he got dismissed, hey man, keep on sending it through. We're gonna keep on highlighting the stuff that's happening because you are very much involved in it, man. Screwface, one more time, we appreciate you, dog.
Thank you so much. I also like that. Though we were like this conversation really evolved into something big. Like we talked about like some dope shit. It wasn't just like Drake versus Kendrick stuff, but like it extrapolated into music, and this is my favorite type stuff to do. So like, thank you so much for having me and let me ramble for this long.
That might have been my
random as hell.
Drake conversation. That been the most objective Drake conversation I ever had because I was trying to shoot him some bail on some of these because it's so bad. I don't got to do much.
They know me. They be saying I be shooting too much bail, even though I don't. But like I just be trying to be objective. This is random as hell, right? Have you heard T-Pain's Club Husband? He just dropped. Bruh, what T-Pain is doing right now, he's on some super like obviously kind of DIY. Like he's like you know how like he does it. He creates his music live and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he had this song called Club Husband that he had made like a couple of years ago, a while ago. Right. And the fans were telling him to drop it and finish it. So he literally pulled up. You can watch the video when he finishes it. He dropped the song, did a music video. There's something just so dope of watching that whole part. He's moving like a YouTuber, and I just love it. That song is so fire that I go. This might even start a whole nother conversation. So I'm not trying to do that, but like, it's called Club Husband. But when you hear it, you instantly go, "They're not going to play this in a club." It feels too good. I swear to God, that was my first reaction.
Wow.
I was like, "Wait a minute, why is that a thing?" But not even to start a whole nother can of worms. But I was
like, because you know you're right. Because I think we all gotta like get used to this new environment, and also too, we got to get used to our house after we had so many squatters in the house. You ain't seen a part of the couch that you ain't seen in a long time because it was a nigga that was laying on the couch and he put his feet up on there. He don't really love nothing about hip hop, but he was a squatter. A lot of them squatters moved out because they're like, man, it ain't fun around here no more. Okay, cool. Now we get to get familiar with the environment. I think part of that is, damn, we don't got to abide by them label ass rules. What you mean they ain't gonna play in the club? I'm gonna play it in this house.
Bro, I'm telling you. It's so crazy, and this is one of the last things I say about it. But I also said it's like you're not gonna play this on the club. It feels too good, and it's gonna make people dance. Like people would want to dance if you heard it.
Imagine that.
Oh shit! What happened? And I wouldn't even say it to be ironic. I literally that was my first thing. I was like, bro, like I go to the club like a couple times a year. I go for my birthday. I go for New Year's, and then maybe like once or twice. That's like for the whole year. But every time I go, like I go. And I feel like a devolving where I go, I don't even remember songs that felt like it's like you need a club husband. What about and I was like, they don't play this type of shit in the club because it's gonna make a nigga want to dance. And I go, is that like like? Did we just? I don't know. Just Rand, I don't want to start.
No, you're right because I was listening to what was it? Coffee Black After Party. I was like, dog, the music used to feel so good. After the part, don't stop. You ain't gotta stop. I'm like, all these arrangements and harmonies, dog. What are we talking about?
They won't play Sexy Can I in the club. Like, and we know what Sexy Can I sounds. And I go, that's what this used to be club music. But then now, like, when you think of club, motherfucker just be, if you don't got a table, you just standing there with just cupping a drink. Just listen to vibes that don't even like, it's literally like, it's so weird, but it's like, maybe this will get shit back. Because if I went to a club and they play Club Husband, I'd be like, oh my God, is the soul back? Like,
well, the reality of it is we probably wouldn't hear it at a club because life as we know it is not the early to mid 2010s. The new club is whatever we decide to play in whatever environment that we decide to have that kind of leisure time. So like even the idea of the club, that's why I thought it was so crazy to me. The idea of the club. Oh, nobody's gonna be dancing to this. When's the last time your grown ass been around somewhere where people were dancing? First of all, let's start there. And then second of all, where's the rest of the world at? And what are they doing? You think they buying shit too? Maybe there's other people outside of this proverbial or this symbolic club. And I think that people that are making the best music just happen to be in the underground. That's why I go so hard for my DIYers, because I'm like, the best music, I bullshit you not, it's coming from people who are creating music from their home, because there's no rules, there's no team, there's no politics, there's no nothing telling them what they can or can't do with every step of their process. I'm
We
here
gotta get
for
together because I've been seeing some international clubs, and they're still playing music that's making people move. And I've been seeing a lot of people talk about going to clubs in different places. Oh, people actually move, and she's like, bro, we got to get it. Like,
it. Yeah,
I get it, but like, we got to get it together over here. We
yeah,
like, there's a lot of issues, man. Like, that's
yeah.
why every song, it's crazy, but every song that you even sound and goes, oh, this could make you move, is like an Afrobeat type song. Like when you hear when a person, someone
Right,
goes,
right.
make a stereotypical like dance type song right now, they're probably gonna make like an Afrobeat song, and that's not great because it's like, I mean, it's great, obviously. Like, shout out to Afrobeat, I love it, but it's like, yeah, like what the fuck? Like you be like, yeah, we just, I don't know. It's dark over here though. It is. It's dark everywhere, but like, I don't know.
I
Didn't
think
want
it.
to start a whole nother.
I think it got to go dark before it goes light. I think the moments, the time period we're in right now seems real spooky for a lot of people who have not seen this play out. They haven't seen eras go in and go out. We've seen this before. I know that this is the dirt before you get to the gold. Because right now, I'm telling you, the best projects that I've heard this year, I didn't need a television to tell me to go listen to it. I didn't even need an Instagram ad to go tell me to listen to it. It's because of my proactive decisions to seek out what's happening. Matter of fact, the most new music I see is on my YouTube timeline, or is coming up on like a blog site, which just sounds crazy in 2025. When you think about a hot new hip hop, or you think about a hip hop DX, these are not the places that a generation ago were getting them from LimeWire and BearShare and all these different like everything's changed. I just think that we're moving into a place where people are saying, instead of me waiting on the next so and so album, instead of me waiting on the next Andre 3000 album, why don't I just go make the kind of album that I wish he would make? Not copying him, but like filling the void that his art fills for me. Why can't I fill that for myself? We have all the things we need. Like, you know what I'm saying? We have so many talented people around us and access to it because of our especially our platforms. You had Mick Jenkins. He was on here too, but you had Mick Jenkins in a music video, and y'all killed that. And that happened in the same year that all of this stuff is happening with the platform. So it's like, dog, the sky really is the limit with this. I think we can't wait on these clubs. We can't wait on these DJs. We can't wait on at least the ones in the industry. Like, we become our own. We celebrate our own and uplift our own. I think it's happening, dog. I think we're the ones.
I think there is an importance though, because I fully agree with that. But I do think there is an importance, and this goes back to like Africa type shit. I do think that as a people, there's a thing about communal dancing. There's a thing that we have about. I was even watching the Katrina documentary, the one that Spike Lee did, and they were talking about how New Orleans and when they came together, and it was the different after. It's like there is something that, because people go like F club culture, let it end, which I get what you're saying, but we need something that we can come together as a community and dance, man. I feel like that's important to us.
See, I think that's also why a movie like Sinners resonated so much.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
But I'm with you. I'm just saying, same way we'll say, for instance, older heads will be like, we got to get back to the old days of hip hop where it wasn't with this nonsense. My thing is, wait, hold on. And I think that's our purpose as 80s babies, to be real with you, as these millennials. I think that's our purpose. We were the ones that were outside, and we were the ones that had a technology. Well, I'm my 80s, I'm my 80s baby. I really feel like 80s, early 90s, like that is our purpose, is to do that. I look at this and I say, before we go back to the club, can we get rid of some of the shit in that environment that ended up bringing us right back to a toxic place musically, right? That got away from us having a good time, that made that environment unsafe for a lot of people. And whether that was us or other people who got in the middle, like, to me, when I think of Sinners shows we've had eras and generations of healthy communal spaces where we can dance, and that's the only thing we're thinking about. It hurts my heart sometimes from the nostalgia when I see 90s videos where you got men in like, you know what I'm saying? They silk long sleeve shirts, flat tops, and they jewelry
Hitting
and
a
they
hard ass
long
dance.
pants, bell bottom, and they dancing at the top of their energy. And I'm like,
In
dog,
hard bottoms. Niggas still wore
you
hard
feel
bottoms in the
me?
club back.
Hard bottoms at the club. And then I can't imagine what them dogs was like at the end of the night when you pull them shoes
Woofing.
off. Woofing, right? But I look at that and I say, damn, there's a side of that, and it's funny because Quackle just said it. There's a side of that where you say that was so beautiful and so pure, but then there's a side of that says, well, some of them events got shot up. Some people's uncles, some brothers didn't make it home. I think this is the type of timing we got to be on, using our, especially us, using our platforms.
Hold on, not to interrupt you, but that's true. That is absolute fact. But I feel like we gotta, and I guess that's what's happening. We gotta say, why do we do that? That's what has to. And what I fear is gonna happen is, yes, we do got to remove some of these elements to get back to what it was when people came. But I also think that I don't trust it to come back. I just don't. I trust it to be dead. And they don't go back to try to pump life into it. I trust it being dead and gentrified. I trust it becoming dead and let's keep it gangster. I'm gonna keep it gangster, and I'm gonna say this: there was never a time niggas didn't die after clubs. Never. Back in jazz, there's never been a time. It's just that's why I say there's
lose environments. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just an eternal question.
You joints and all that, right.
Yeah, and do that, but it's just like I do think that communal spaces like even look at how concerts are going. They're pricing out the anybody but the richest person to go. We're losing all of our communal places to come and celebrate music and dance, and that's important for us. That's important for everybody. But it's very important to be a Black man in America and not have, especially when we're artists, we're creatives too, and not have because it's one thing to create music here in your room, but there you know there's a difference.
Yeah.
It's a communal.
Yeah.
And you feel it and you taste it and you can touch it. But it's like I feel like we're slowly losing all of that shit.
Well, I think
I live in Vegas, and I know and I lived in Vegas long enough to see how people keep saying Vegas is dying because of certain things. Yeah, they're cutting out, bruh. They're cutting out a lot of our shit and changing it, bruh. Like Dre's is about to become like a whole different club. And I'm not saying Dre's was ours either.
Right.
It's not what it's about to be. You know what I mean? So it's like I just think that we got to pay attention. I think that's a part of Trump's agenda. I think that's a part of all this agenda. I feel like a lot of social media is about causing infighting amongst Black people, infighting amongst. I have never seen more infighting amongst Black people than in the last year. Even on class, on race, on colorism, we've always fought, but like
gender,
it's getting to a point where it's like, yo, we are dead ass distracted fighting each other, and we're not even paying attention to the actual niggas who are trying to eliminate us. Because even the Joe Budden, Angela Rod, you know, like you saw that shit, right? Like that. I'm starting to be like, bro, this starting to feel like there's a reason why every 3 days there's a new Black versus Black fight. There's a new, whether it's race, class, money, colorism. It's like,
unfortunately, it does numbers, and it has the ability to exist in every mainstream media publication you can think of. Like, there's certain conversations that I ask myself, yo, why is that really a topic of conversation on Rolling Stone for how they've positioned themselves? Like, this feels like it's below the kind of conversations they want to have about pop culture. Like, why you worry about this particular viral moment or semi-viral moment? It's to the point now where I look at it and I'm like, even reviews of albums, there's certain platforms that I'm like, why would you even be interested in a review of a Ghostface Killer album when your platform doesn't say that it even celebrates this? It just feels like it's opportunities to, once again, engage in engagement farm and take those numbers, because whether it's negative or positive, you're still getting numbers, and then use that and turn that into dollars. And I feel like there's so many people who are using our pain, they're using our trauma. There was a time period where I started looking at some of these horror movies like with a side eye. After Get Out dropped, there were so many like Black based horror traumas that started feeling like, all right, that ain't Jordan Peele behind that.
Yeah, it's the new slave movie shit. Yeah.
The new version of a slave movie. Like it gets to the point where it's like, what is the end game? Like, what is the end goal with what's going on here? So a lot of that stuff does exist. You're right.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy. Like I remember when Metro's album dropped, infighting between black people got so crazy. I remember when Metro's album dropped and they were like, it became a fight between Atlanta niggas and everybody outside of Atlanta. You remember that when niggas was like, no, this is for Atlanta. The niggas be like, why would you only make something for Atlanta? We can say this is whack. And it's like, oh my God. Like regional music is good. Regional music is bad. And it's just
like you get it to the point where you arguing against your own lineage. Like what made the possibility for you to be here? I seen the nigga on YouTube credit Soulja Boy for shoes that Run DMC made popular.
Yeah.
I'm like, what Wally World Twilight Zone episode am I in right now? But that's the place we're in where it's like, if it gets enough retweets, if it gets enough traction and enough people of influence like us argue with it or retweet it, engage with it, then all of a sudden it's like, well, I guess it must have some validity to it if the big dogs are talking to him. I hate it. I hate
that we fall for it so easily. I hate that we fall for it so easily. And in a time like now, when AI, and for some reason they love creating black AI, when AI is a thing, we gotta just start loving each other. We gotta just I'm speaking about black people. We gotta love and celebrate everything black. But in general, we all gotta just start loving. And I know it's and trust me, I go Millie. I'm not on both sides of the fence. I'm the last person to be on that shit. I'll never do that goofy ass shit.
Right.
But I do think that we need to start being able to call out who our allies are and who are actually fighting, because this Elon's Twitter is potent, bruh. It's potent. And I'm like, we gotta be a little wiser, man.
Like crack in the 80s, because it attacks a drug that a lot of people are addicted to, which is their ego, which is their image that they're trying to hold together as perfection. And they have the power. I was watching a video on how bot farms work, and I'm literally watching one man typing into a computer. It's like a PC with 24 phones. And he's sending his message off, and he's like, oh, that one's going out to Twitter. You 14 phones engage with that one. You start an argument. You have a bigger account. You start an argument. And then when a real person comes in, we got action. All right, we're going to send these troops over here. When I seen it like that, I said, I'm not talking to these folks on here, bro. This shit is
and it's funny because
the Black Mirror is a documentary. Go ahead.
You go on any other social media, and I say it's the Twitterification of the world, because I'm telling you, 80% of this stuff only lives on Twitter, but so much of us are chronically on it that we think that's what the world is looking like or the world talking about, and it's absolutely not. Like Facebook is completely different than Twitter. TikTok is completely different than Twitter. Blue Sky is completely. I've done something before where I posted something on Twitter and posted on Blue Sky and went, what's going on here? Like it was just, but I don't want to hold you up because goddamn it, I gotta go.
You good? No, you my dog. And it's funny because anybody who knows any live streams we do, this is not nothing new. It'll be like a debate for the damn near 3 hours. What's my dog? And I still ain't met you in real life, even though we was both at that Kendrick concert.
I feel like we have met, and that's I keep thinking like, we haven't. I guess that was me and Jeremy. I mean, me and Justin. So yeah. We still go. We don't link up, bro. We just a few hours away from each other.
Come on. I'm gonna make a trip out there for sure. Make a trip out there, especially because I got new music. I'm gonna have to make that call, and we got we're gonna shout. You know what I mean?
Like a little Vegas out, like a little weekend out in Sin City.
You feel me? Like I just need a little vacation time. Vacation time. Thank you, Happy Valley. One more time.
Man, I wish you would have. I had nobody to go to Complex Con with.
Oh man, dog, I just
that cooked my soul, nigga. I wish you. I'd be like, man, I need to know more people in this goddamn city.
It's all good. We gonna yeah, but we like ambiverts. You know, I know what it is for me. I like my time outside when I'm outside. I love people when I'm around people, but then I also love my time to myself, and I guard that. Oh my God, I guard that because boy, situations be getting draining as hell. So
yeah, nothing better than sometimes an event than getting done with it and you're like, yeah, I really did that.
yeah.
I
I can
didn't
go home
say.
now. I can go home now and get to my family where it's a lot more simple. I'm with that. DIYers, I'm about to get ready for this, man. One more round of applause for my dog. I know we keep trying to get up out of here. So we for real this time.
Oh, by the way, Happy Valley Farms. I'm sorry, I gotta say this. Shout out to you, Happy Valley Farms, for that super chat. Well, I almost said a cash app. I'm getting old, guy.
Oh, come on, Oh,
Hey,
come on,
cash
Scru.
app, young man. But yes,
Come
that's
on,
an important
Scru.
message. That is that is an important message. Wakanda forever. I love everything black. I love everybody. I'm rooting for everything black. I love everybody in here, even if you don't like me, even if you one of these hating ass Drake niggas who come in. Let me not say Drake niggas. Hating ass OVO bots who just come in here and go, screw face. I've literally had people. There was this, I'm sorry, I gotta
There you
do
go.
this.
See, you gotta see.
Okay, last story. This is how I know that the OVO niggas is on their job with me but they don't really. I be like, y'all niggas don't really hate me. Y'all really love me because, and I know they don't be watching the videos because there's that, that Luther theory. No, the theory of poetic justice I was talking about earlier, right? So I reacted to this video where there's this lady who is saying like the theory, right? And I was disagreeing with her, and there's a part where she said, where they say,
What they say?
shout out to that lady, but she said, nah, because when they said PS, that's short for Pac Shakur. I almost dog. I said, this is why niggas be thinking some of you Kendrick fans be crazy. But I said, but the whole time I was laughing at it, and one of the OVO talks tweeted and went, see, there goes Screwface agreeing with this lady. I go, you didn't watch 5 seconds of this. You saw the thumbnail, which how I know you on your job, because you got my notifications on. You saw this thumbnail. You didn't watch 1 second. In fact, you could have used it as a moment to be like, even Screw thinks she's crazy. But you shot yourself with the foot. Was like, see, Screw doesn't. It's like, yeah, y'all don't even know how to troll good. Like,
Postscript. That doesn't make any sense.
She said, and I said, she said, Pac Shakur, I mean, as in Tupac? Who? All right, man. This listener comes with a little bit of, yeah, I mean, you ain't eating enough fried chicken in your life. That's what that felt like. That felt like, all right, okay, come on now.
I would suggest some ayahuasca to him, but that might be too much for him. How about you just get a healthy dose of walnuts? It's good for your brain. It's good for your brain. You feel me? Like, this is good for your brain. Too much brain rot is going to have you saying shit like PS stands for Pac Shakur. Pac, like, what the hell I got to do with this? The hell
Somebody
I got to do?
said black people got to say bye 3 to 5 times to really mean it.
Yeah. And still forget my plate. Hold on, let me get my plate. I'm going to get up out of here.
Because the one story you be remembering, you're like, hold on, look, I got to tell this story.
Did I tell you about
I
tell you about that one time when I
RDO Wires done this time.
Shout out to you one more time, dog. I'm looking at you. I appreciate you as always.
Shout out to the chat. I love y'all, man. This was so much fun.
All right, peace out.
DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.